And we're live.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects and the like. Thanks for joining me today as we uncover the mysteries of the Mandela effect itself and find out the true meaning of it all. We must discover what is really happening, what is really going on to change these things that we know and hold dear to us. And let us help others discover the meaning of the Mandela effect and how it affects them and the price of milk. Thank you. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe down below.
Hey everyone, welcome to another great, exciting show. We have a lot planned tonight. We've got our special guest, Tom Hefner, with us as well, digital scribe. So, hope everyone had a good week. Hi. Let me do a few announcements, or a couple of shout outs actually. Dave Summers is in the chat. There's digital scribe. Hey Erica. Erica Cosat's here. Robert Humphrey. Welcome everyone. So, Tom, what new things have you come across lately, or what things have you noticed? And this is kind of our segment where we're going to try to bring it to drum up some ideas here with the Mandela effect. What do you have in mind? What's your story? Give us some updates. Not those kind of updates. Give us some updates. Can you hear me?
Yeah, not John Smith updates, right?
No John Smith updates.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa, you're on there. Hey, can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right, great. Like I said, and I've been saying it for a long time, it's still the greatest show on earth, the Mandela effects. There's nothing like it for sure. And I mean, by now there must be tens of thousands of different wonderful Mandela effects. I mean, it just keeps coming, and it's just fascinating. It's actually really interesting when you tell people who never heard of it or were exposed to it until you start showing them some of the examples, and then they have a choice to believe in this fabrication that's all misbelieving or cognitive dissonance, or actually the truth that, yeah, your whatever has changed, And what I like to get in talking about is personal experiences that people have had with the Mandela effect. For example, like what caused them to actually to see it? What was the one incident that woke them up to see the Mandela effects? Also, another incident is when you tell somebody about a change and they're agreeing with it. Yeah, it's like this. And then all of a sudden, once you show them the Mandela effect itself, all of a sudden, I call it the Smith effect, where all of a sudden their mind gets downloaded with the current change. So now they're telling you a story opposite of what they were just telling you like a minute ago before you showed them the actual Mandela effect. And I coined that as the Smith effect there. So yeah, I like to hear people's experiences with it, and then I could chime in with my own later.
Well, when you say peoples, are you referring to people in the chat? Can you hear me?
Yes, people in the chat, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we have a time for some callers, but first,
yeah.
Esther, have you noticed anything with the Smith sort of effect, where, like what Tom was saying, where if you talk to somebody about something, all of a sudden they change their tune when they get the update? It's like, yeah, I remember Charles Schultz was TZ, but then when you show it to them, it's like, no, it was always like that.
I've had it happen a couple of times, not as often as probably what you guys have seen, but I just a couple more recently where like they'll be like, oh yeah, that's the way it always was, and it's like, no, that's not the way it always was. Like even my son, like he was looking at what's his name, Tanjiro, and he's like, yeah, his scar was always on that side of his face, and I'm like, wait a second, 5 seconds ago you were saying it was on the other side, but as soon as you look at it, you changed your mind, and I'm like, I can tell you right now, it's not on the other side. I did a Demon Slayer birthday party for you. I know which side it was on. I've been staring at this tapestry on the wall for a week now. I know which side his scar was on. And then it goes and changes. So, I mean, even my own son had changed his mind. And then even my kids would like a couple of like the Minecraft and stuff. And I was a little surprised that they're like, yeah, he always had purple eyes. I'm like, no, he had blue eyes. So, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, that's Diamond
Well-
Steve. I'm like, no, Diamond Steve had light blue eyes, not the dark blue eyes I remember. So,
You guys know roughly how many Mandela effects have been found?
oh, I have no idea. It would probably take a long time to sit down and write them all down. I know for me,
There's
like,
got to be thousands.
I
There
probably
is,
found
there
like 2 dozen in just music alone, let alone, outside of music, not counting movies and, clothing and everything else.
Well, just
And
on
time zones as well.
I'm trying to remember the exact. There was a website where you could go to pull up all the effects, and I think it was like over 10,000 at least. I mean, it's thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands upon thousands, and
Yeah.
I got to ask you guys because I asked my parents tonight about because we watched the ending of "It's a Wonderful Life," and supposedly that part where the angel getting the wings may have changed. So I wanted to ask you guys what you remember as a consensus, or to see what you remember. So you remember when it's kind of a happy, sad, you get tears in your eyes because it's so happy. It's such a good movie. And at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, the little girl says to her dad, she says, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets
his wings.
His wings. Yeah, that's right, Clarence.
But do you remember his or its?
It's.
He gets.
That's what I remember.
An angel gets his wings.
I don't know, man. It's tricky.
An angel gets
I
its
don't
wings.
remember his because it was its because they didn't really say his or her. I just remember
It's interesting.
an angel gets its
I'm
wings.
trying to think this one out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure
just
this one out.
something to think
Every
about.
time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Please,
Gets its wings. Okay, it's
I mean,
probably
I
its,
can
right?
either way, I guess.
my mom says she remembers his. Okay, please post in the chat if you remember his wings or it.
Oh,
Hi, Lemon.
yeah, exactly. And how about this? How about people having dual memories? Now that's a real trip. Like you remember it both ways.
Yes,
That's
it's like,
another.
you know that song? What is it? I know Esther, you're keen on the songs. That's your kind of your thing, right?
I'll try to.
And I think you are too, Jeff. I think you are too on the songs. But do you remember?
Yeah, on mostly older ones. Yeah.
Who could it be now, or who can it be now? What is it?
Who can it be now?
Who can it be now?
Who can it be now? Yeah, who can it be?
Like what you were saying, I remember. I have a dual memory. I remember who could it be at times, and then I remember who can it be at times. It's so weird.
That is. It's always been who can it be for me.
Do you know that song by the Turtles?
Happy Together?
Imagine me and you. I do.
Yeah, Happy Together.
And then it goes, no matter how blank, toss the dice, and I seem to remember no matter how we toss the dice, and it's always been no matter how they toss the dice. And it's
I have
just
current memory on that.
to it. Huh?
I have current memory on that. It's always been they for me.
Really? No matter how they toss the dice?
I
Yeah.
always remember we, no matter how we toss the dice, because it was talking about we together.
Exactly.
You and
Tom,
me.
what do you remember with that?
I'm just trying to remember a period. I'm not sure which way it would be.
I love that
I haven't
song.
really listened to it.
Teenager. I actually when I was a teenager, the one commercial that would show up on our when we would watch the news in the morning at school, they had a Pepsi commercial come on where it was Pepsi and Coke, and they were like doing that dual thing that they sat together and they played that song, and that's when I love that song. So I got to hear that specific line over and over again for the commercial. So pretty much almost every day. So
Yeah,
that's
you remember?
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
Your mom
Great
remembers
song.
Daddy.
So you remember we also?
Oh yeah.
See, I'm hearing some people in the chat. I see Erica says can, so my mom says could. So we're seeing different answers. That's good. We with this show, those of you who are new with us, we'd like full participation if you could, because that's what makes the Mandela effect a Mandela effect, is if there is a general, like if you see kind of where it's like 50-50, it's like or if it's like what it is now in reality and everybody remembers something totally different, But if there's one lone person out there, we're not gonna shun you or make fun of you. So don't be afraid to put down your answer, what you remember, okay? I mean, because some people have personal shifts. And to get more into that, I'd like to take a caller. Could we possibly get a caller?
You need to put the number in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
I know I used to have it in my phone. I don't even have that song in my head. It's not a bad song to have in my head. Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny. We were just talking about how that I just noticed Moneybags73 uploaded a new video. It's the Mandela Effect has changed so many iconic movie lines. And we're talking about how many different. I'm like, I don't know. I haven't watched the video yet because I haven't watched as much YouTube today. But it's kind of interesting. Like I like his channel when he keeps doing "Hear What You Like." That new one he just did. It totally freaked me out. It is so
Me
weird
too.
how
The Eye of the Tiger one.
yeah, it's like how can you hear a whole different word, like a
Yep.
completely
And I did
different
too.
word? Like depending on what you put your mind on will depend
Yep.
on what you and I'm like it just blows my mind. I mean, I could see like with an angel gets his wings or his wings, it's very similar, but you're talking whole words like have or change. It's like or them or whatever. It was whole different words. I'm like every letter in that word is
Yep.
different.
There's that one lyric in the song that really gets me where you can hear two different things. It's the
Yeah.
thrill of the fight, and then you can hear it's the cream of the fight if you want to hear that. It's weird.
I thought it was the prim of the fight, like the prime of the fight, but they said prim.
Yeah, he
I don't
says,
know.
well, it's cream or thrill, and I always remember thrill, but you can hear it either way depending on how you hear. And there's also another part of the song where it also has the same type of. There's a different word that you can hear, and it's like I don't know how is that possible? Thrill and cream sounds nothing alike.
Nope.
Those are
And it's
two
the same
things.
part of the song too. It's not even like it's later in the song where you
Yeah.
could say maybe they changed it or something for later in the song. It's the same exact line in the same exact part of the song. That's
Yeah.
what's so creepy about it.
Yeah, you just rewind it and listen to the same lyric over, and whatever you put in your head, you can hear. And it's like that's like the blue needle and green
needle.
pill.
Yeah, green needle or brain
weird.
needle.
Yeah, like all of those. It's just weird. I don't.
And the Yanni and Laurel thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
well,
Erica said in
that's
the
just it.
chat.
I remember hearing Yanny in the beginning, but now I hear is Laurel. That's all I hear.
I can't remember the word I heard, but I only heard one word. And then my kids heard a different one. So I know
My
it
mom
was
says,
real because they were hearing different words than
my
me.
mom
So,
says she remembers the cream of the fight.
yeah, I remember Thrill, but
Yeah,
I said
Frank.
if you think about it, you can hear Cream, and it's like that's
My
weird.
dad mentioned Redbone. You know the Redbone song?
Oh no.
Yeah, come and get your love.
Yeah, it says hail. It says hail now. It used
Hail
to be hey.
instead of hey. Yeah,
Hey,
that one really gets me.
hey, what's the
It was
matter with
definitely
you?
hey.
Now it's hail. And
Yep.
my dad thought it was Gale,
Mhm.
which is weird.
Well, that is really similar. Like I said, when you're talking words that are similar, that could be like, you're hearing a different word. But like I said, with the whole hear what you want phenomenon, that's just, I just wonder, it's like, is it like the frequencies that we're on now is like changing, and therefore we can hear different words? Because music is frequency, and it's all about, it really is, just music
Yeah,
in
that
general.
could have something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just depending on what frequency. Like, you can actually use music to like break things down, and like, actually, there was a video about somebody was able to use music to or frequency to push water upwards, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. It's pretty interesting how our basically frequency, like, you could walk through a wall if you can get on the same frequency as that wall is. But because we're on a different frequency, we can't walk through that wall. It's a solid object because we're on a different frequency. And that's really
Well, but that's what
what makes us
I
out.
think maybe that's what it boils down to, is that why some people see the effect and why others don't is because we're on a different frequency. I think it's like
Yes.
Yeah.
imagine a radio
Well,
station. You're on AM. AM obviously has a amplitude modified, so there's a wider number of channels you can switch to. So if you think about it, if you're on one frequency and somebody's on another, you know how they say, like, synchronicities happen. I think synchronicities happen when those waves sort of overlap, and sometimes you get that with some people. You ever notice how you vibe with people really well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
And
especially
and
like,
others you don't.
yeah, there's some people that can
Yeah.
pick up like energies, and like when I'm around people, like physically around people, I can pick up on more like just overall, just general like personas and stuff. It's like, yeah, like their outward appearance, like I could like completely bypass what you look like. I can kind of more like, when I'm around a person, I'm like, you feel off. Like, there's some people that just have that weird feeling, like, and it's just,
Well, you
it's,
know what?
but
You know what's really, really, really amazing? It's like the observer effect, or your consciousness, whatever you focus on.
Mhm.
That's where I come up with this faith-based reality, because everything works on what you focus, what you believe, and when you observe it or focus it, that's when the effect starts happening. In other words, you know, like um, like the placebo effect. People have been given like this fake sugar pill, and yet they get healed because they believe they were healed. That's why when you hear people saying the I am statements, like I am strong, I am this, I am that, if they start saying it enough, then it actually starts manifesting in that way. It's like those, they talk about the law of attraction, but there's a higher law called the law of vibration. When you actually become that, that's when you start attracting it, you know. And but talking about the observer effect, I'll tell you a Mandela real life experience I had. We were setting up this stage every Saturday for months on end, and every time we set it up, we line it up to this outlet, so it's centered, right? Well, all of a sudden, one day we were doing the same thing, setting up, and then the guy said, "We can't get this thing to line up." It was really crazy. And then one of my buddies there, he believed in the Mandela effect. He yelled out, "It's a Mandela effect!" And then I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So what I did, I bent down looked straight at the outlet that we centered to. At the first glance, it was perfectly lined up. Then right before my very eyes, like I guess the second look or the second glance, I actually seen it shift over like 18 inches to the way it's now, you know, like the way that everybody else saw it. But when I first looked at it, it was lined up and then it shifted. So it's almost like, when you observe, this is the thing about the Mandela effect. When you observe it, that's when it starts to happen. And what happens, like these people who get Smith affected, where you like tell them, like, I'll give you one more testimony, then we could get some callers in. Is I was telling my friend about the thing with Tom Cruise with the sunglasses dancing to the Bob Seger song. And I said, what did he have on? And my friend said, yeah, he had the sunglasses on and stuff. He's going off saying, yeah, he's got the sunglasses. He did the dance, right? So then I showed him the YouTube video of it. Next thing you know, he's seen it. Oh no, he never had the sunglasses. That was on the video case with the sunglasses. He never had. It was like a 180-degree flip. But what I really believe happened was he truly remembered that he had the sunglasses, but when he was exposed or observed the change, it updated his memory of it. So that's the whole thing about the Mandela effect. It's worked on the observer effect. So when you first see it, and I like to hear some testimonies of people actually seeing something flipping from the way it used to be to the way it is now. And so maybe we get some callers in, if that's okay with the group.
Yeah. I know for me, a weird change with Tom Cruise, speaking of Tom Cruise, is I always remember him having like blue eyes. And then I looked up because I noticed in the new Top Gun movie, his eyes didn't look blue anymore. And I'm
They
like,
look
why?
kind of brownish.
They're hazel. He's
Hazel.
always had hazel eyes. And I'm like, no, when I was like 18, I remembered at the time I had like a huge crush on him because I love Top Gun when I was a kid, and Mission Impossible had just come, I watched Mission Impossible and everything and love those movies. And I always thought my ideal guy was black hair and blue eyes because of Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So
they were definitely blue.
Blue eyes. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
definitely blue.
I like that was kind of like my whole teenage years. I wanted a guy with blue eyes and black hair because that was kind of like my ideal because I like Tom Cruise. That was kind of like the thought I had was like that's
Yeah, well, I wanted to point out because somebody in our chat, I think it was Rasker, was asking observer effect ? So basically, let me explain. So when you have in physics, okay, the observer effect is when you disturb an observed system by the act of observation, by simply observing it. Okay. Do you remember in physics you had to study precision versus accuracy, and they're very much the same, but they're actually quite different. So precision is when you're able to measure, like say you shoot an arrow. Okay, just imagine shooting an arrow at a target, and you hit that exact same target each time, in the bullseye, let's say, or in that general area. That is precision. Accuracy is actually hitting your target. When you're accurate, you're actually hitting, but when you're consistent, that's precision. So I just want to point that out. So basically, you have these instruments that alter the state. Okay, in other words, with the Mandela effect, we're the instruments, we're the observers. Imagine like if you were to check the pressure of a car tire. You go outside. Of course, this happens during the colder weather. You have to air up your tires. If you notice, your tire pressures probably drop below 30, and so you had to fill them up, right? Mm-hmm. So while you're checking it, it's impossible to check it without letting out some of the air. So that's where the observer effect comes in, because you have to, while you're checking it, you're actually changing it. So it's kind of like the Mandela effect. When you're observing something, you're actually changing it. It's changing.
Exactly.
Now,
just by mere observation or knowing about it changes it.
Now you can reduce the level of significance, okay, using certain instruments and observation techniques. But the one notable example, okay, we talked about this many times on the show. We talked about in quantum mechanics the double slit experiment, where physicists have found that when they observed quantum phenomena, it can change the measured results of the experiment. So, despite the observer effect in the double slit being caused by the presence of a detector, the results have been misinterpreted by some to suggest that a conscious mind can actually directly affect reality. So the need for the observer to be conscious, okay, is not supported by just merely scientific research, but it's been pointed out as a misconception, and it's been rooted in by people with misunderstanding the quantum wave function. And I think you can go into that about the Planck's constant, right, Tom? You can explain that if you want to go really deep, But we're just checking. We're looking at the surface level here, okay? We're not really scientists. I've told people many times on this show, we are observers. We're also basically like playing detective here because, I feel violated every time I take an update. I don't know about you guys. If I take an update, I feel violated.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, So the bottom line is when you observe some, look at some, that's when you're going to have an encounter there. Especially when you're looking at Mandela, like when you find out a new Mandela effect. A while ago, we were talking about dual memories. Sometimes when you're observing it and you're seeing it the new way, all of a sudden, kind of have like a little battle. You may still remember it the old way, and that's it. Or sometimes you may remember it the old way and the new way because it's been downloaded, like some of your brain cells have been changed or your consciousness. Or sometimes you may have like a total flip. All of a sudden, you don't realize that it's the old way, it's always new way. But what I found out with people who know the Mandela effect, have believed in or know it's true, a lot of times their memory will never flip completely where it gets shifted because we're aware of it. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah, sometimes I have like a dual memory.
Yeah.
It's like it will just stick. I'm like, I don't know. They both sound right. Like they both
Right.
sound right. So
Well, everything that goes on in our brains with the neurons, okay? If you think about it, they have to fire. It's like sparks between cells, right? So they say when you get older, the distance between the neurons changes. It grows larger. So because the neurons have to make a farther stretch, that's why time seems to move faster as you get older. That's what I've heard. But it's all electrons moving through the neurons, right? Because the electron is basically the smallest particle. And it carries almost no weight. Electrons don't really weigh much, but they carry lots and lots of energy. I've read in physics, okay, where the uncertainty principle has been frequently confused with the observer effect. Evidently, even the originator of the uncertainty principle, you guys remember Heisenberg, learning about it in science, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle?
no,
Where basically, you never heard of it?
nope, never even
So
heard of that.
it tells you how precisely we can measure the position and the momentum of a particle at the same time. So basically, the velocity of an electron and the superposition, basically the position of it, we cannot determine that at the same time. We are forced to lose precision by measuring one and not the other. You can't measure both at the same time. It's impossible. So, more in the spirit of the observer effect, this fully accounts for the disturbance of the observer has on a system and the error has incurred. Although this isn't the uncertainty principle is not the most commonly used in practice. So in practice, we usually refer to it as the observer effect. they're not interchangeable. One's slightly different from the other, but the observer effect, we all tend to observe things at our own pace and everything. So, um,
let me
but
reiterate some. Let me reiterate something real
okay.
quick. Also, time itself is irrelevant to the Mandela effect. And the reason why I say like this, I remember back in 2016 when I saw like Fruit Loops was from FRUIT to FOOT, right? Well, this happened and I woke up to the Mandela effect back in 2016. Then when I encountered Teresa in I think 2017, sometime in there, she told me that she saw it shift from FRUIT to FROOT, right? So, but that happened 6 months later. Like she actually saw FRUIT way after it's already been FROT. Just like this stage, like I was telling you, the other people already saw it shifted when I've yet to see it shifted when I first saw it. So a lot of people kind of have the misconception that when a Mandela effect happens, they're trying to figure out, well, when did it happen? When did the whole rewrite to the whole universe come up with this new effect? Everybody's assuming it's happened at the same time, but no, that's not true. It can happen years down the road or it can happen in the past, but it's not all the same time. But when you
Yep, we
observe it,
shift at different
so
times.
exactly. So time really has nothing to do with it. It's more your observation of it. When you see it shift in real time, that's when the Mandela effect comes to you, I guess.
Right.
Well,
A good example of that would be I didn't see the Berenstein Bears change until 2020 to Berenstain.
no way. Because
And
are you
yeah,
serious, Jeff? How long you been
yes,
watching our show?
since 2020. I didn't know about the Mandela effect till 2020, but I've been affected for like 25 years or more, noticing things and thinking what's going on here, but not knowing there was a name for what I was experiencing. But in 2019, I was watching old Saturday morning cartoons on YouTube, and one of them was Berenstein Bears, and it was still Berenstein Bears. I saw that in 2019. And it wasn't until I found out about the term Mandela effect in 2020 that I saw it as Berenstain. I
Wow,
had a
that's
few of
really.
those happen to me.
So, what was your reaction at first? I mean, because obviously there was an action at place, and you had to have a
Mm-hmm.
reaction. So, what was your reaction?
Well, at first I just thought it was a bunch of BS because I kept looking it up to, to confirm. I'm like, no, this ain't true.
Right,
I
I
know
use
it
that
was
term all the
Berenstein.
time. I'm laughing, Jeff, because I use BS all the time. Like Sandy shows me something, right? I'm like, that's BS. When there's a change happening. But go ahead.
But then when I saw that it actually changed, it freaked me out. And for a few weeks there, I was a mess because I kept on finding all these different things. And I started looking at the physical matter that I had in my apartment that changed. And that really got me. Like the spelling of Leonard Skinner on my CD had changed to what it currently is now with the 4 Ys. But I remembered Lynard very clearly. Skynard very clearly. And when I looked at my CD, it freaked me the hell out that it was with the 4 Ys now. And then I kept looking at DVD covers with the name changes of the celebrities and all these different things. And then the Berenstain Bear books that actually said Berenstain and not Berenstein. And that's when I realized something was going on here that couldn't be explained. But it took me a long time to really figure it out or even find out, the term Mandela effect. It took me a long time to figure out that there was something more
But
at play here.
I think there's different layers. Okay. There's like surface Mandela effects, but then it goes actually deeper. Um, I feel like there's deeper ones we just haven't discovered yet. But I
Yeah.
wanted to read a few of the you guys are posting some really great stuff there in the chat, and I can't ignore it. It's just that good. So we have Preliminal says, I'm on a different Earth, and I was not on the Orion arm. Yeah, right. Are we
Yes.
not on the? We were on Orion's belt, right? On this, but now
On
we're on
Sagittarius
oh no, Sagittarius arm.
No, we
originally.
used
Yeah.
to be on Sagittarius arm way out there on the
Yeah.
edge.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Yeah, and
Now
then
it's
we
Orion.
moved to Orion's belt, and that was 80,000 light years. And of course, and this is another thing too that I want to really say, that according to quantum gravity research, they say everything is information, whether it's energy, whether it's frequency, vibration, thought, matter, time, everything is information. So people think that we jumped 80,000 light years from Sagittarius arm to Orion's belt, but really it just everything got shifted, but it's all information. And when you understand everything is information,
well, information
then that's
is energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't information energy? It contains ones and zeros.
Exactly. Like people think that reality functions like computers, but what happened is man always tries to figure out the most simplest way and copy things. So what he actually did, he copied how reality worked. And the simplest form of reality is ones and zeros. Like, in other words, we're a digitized reality. When you were talking about Max Planck, the Planck length is 10 to the minus 36 meter. You cannot measure anything smaller than that. It has no information. It's impossible. So they proved 100 years ago that we live in a digital reality, and that's called Planck's length. And Planck's time is the speed of light that travels across Planck's length, which is 10 to the 44 frames per second. Like if we're in a 30, what?
I'm just saying, I know you said the word impossible. I have heard with God, all things are possible.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I think God exists in the quantum, to tell you the truth. That's the only way he can hear and see things at the same time. He can be everywhere at once. It's got to be. He's in the quantum, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I read the one that Raskar said about Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I remember that clip too, where he said that we're on a Sagittarius arm and now we're in Orion's belt. And, that's just amazing how we shift. But like I said, everything's fair game. And there's 1,000 theories of what's causing Mandela effect. And I'm starting to think it's more like a glitch type thing. I think that's just
great.
And another thing too, people think it's time travel, like people in the past altered the past, therefore change the future. But that really isn't a viable thing either. And the reason why I explain that is because when you're looking at anything in the past, like for example, you're reading grandma's 200-year-old King James Bible, and you saw that the lion lions lie down with the lamb. We used to be, now it's the wolf. And then the pages there got changed. But you're always looking the past through the present. So the Mandela effect deals with the ever-present now, and that's where the change happens. So you're still looking at the past through the eyes of the present. So,
and we wouldn't
maybe we
have
should
those
take some
memories. We
Right.
wouldn't have those memories of things being different if it was time travel. We would have current memory with everything, so it's not time travel.
I don't think
Exactly.
I don't think travel.
And maybe we should get some callers coming in.
Well, the most interesting thing to me about the Mandela effect, and one thing that it has in common, what like all the Mandela effects seem to have in common, is this idea of retrocausality. And we've talked about this before. It's where you have something that changes in the past or changes in the present, but somehow it changes in the past and in the future as well. It's really a mysterious thing, but it happens with every ME, it seems. But then we actually found some effects that stabilize in the future. They're fine, but they only change within a certain time period in the past. And somehow the company was able to cover it up about their logo change, maybe. And I don't know, like the Ford logo is another mysterious thing to me. It's got that weird curly Q on the F, I have to say, Oiler Greg says, I have several people in my life who I have serious conversations about the Mandela effect, and some have even come to see it themselves, but not internet, but in person. Tommy says, I have had many conversations, but I get interrupted by people calling the person in talking to, or random people interrupt the conversation as if other people get a signal to come and stop the conversation.
Yep.
Weird.
Every time. Happens to me all the time. Drives me crazy
Yes.
when that happens.
Yep. And Joe Bloor says, what if we are all living in our own reality bubble in a moving and shifting universe in reality? And Orla Greg responded, I guess some people do get upset. Some people get upset when the Mandela is mentioned. It is weird. And Tommy goes on to say, I've had someone interrupt a conversation I was having with someone as I was telling them about how these interruptions happened all the time. Our minds do have an effect on our reality somehow. Yeah, I mean, what you think and feel, it comes to the surface sometimes, you know. Like some people are really empathetic and can feel like, hey, something seems off about this person, or you know, are you okay? You know, something feels off. You know, like, you know, there's a degree of empathy that a lot of us in the Mandela effect community have. That's one thing we all seem to have in common. If we can figure out what we have in common, I think we can figure out more with the Mandela effect. Okay, so as of right now, there basically seems like there's no rhyme or reason to the changes, because it's really hitting random things. But mostly, the Mandela effect seems to love the 80s for some reason. It's like a lot of things in the 80s have changed. But there are some other decades that have changed also, like the 50s and 60s and so forth. Even the wars, like you come across artifacts from World War II and World War One. Did you see those zebra striped battleships and stuff?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So yes, Tommy was saying synchronicities happen when we're focusing on whatever topics we see in our reality. It's almost proof to me that our thoughts are actual things. And Tom, like you said, thoughts are energy. So yeah, guys, we'd love to take a caller. One of you guys, please give us a call. We'll, you know, we're not going to bite, we promise. Some of you guys are new, and we've been doing this podcast, okay, for going on, what are we on, year 6, Tom? We're moving into year 6. We started broadcasting back in 2017.
Well,
Anyone
Moving
know?
into year 7.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No,
If you start
2017.
in
2017.
2017.
Let's see, 18, 19, 20,
Yeah.
21, 22, 23 would be 6 years. 2023 will be 6 years. We have a caller. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello. I'm Rasker.
Oh, hey, Racker. How you doing, man?
Oh,
hello.
Hey, welcome. Can you guys hear him okay?
I've had a lot of things happen in my life with the Mandela effect that's just kind of messed me up. Someone I grew up with, his younger brother passed away in a car accident, and now he's alive. This happened like 10 years ago, and I remember the funeral and all of this stuff, and I have him as a Facebook friend now.
Wow.
Oh my God.
What?
Whoa.
That is really bizarre.
Oh yeah,
store, and a guy came in that knew the family, and we talked about the funeral. And so I'm sitting here thinking, what in the hell is going on?
Well, we've seen a lot of that. You know, we've seen a lot of that where the seems like the celebrities, some of them dying, but then coming back, especially with the main one of the Mandela effect is obviously Nelson Mandela, where he supposedly died in the 90s, but then we hear, or 80s or 90s, some people get it roughly around that time. And then
I'm not affected by that one.
Yeah, I don't know either way, but it seems to me like, because I've heard Bush mention that he died in the 90s, George W. Bush. What do you guys think about that, where celebrities die and come back? And especially right here with Rasker and his situation. Have you guys ever known anyone to do that, just die in and come back like that? I mean, other than Jesus Christ, I mean, anyone?
No non-celebrities, but plenty of celebrities. Louis Anderson being the most prominent of all of them for me, because I remember clearly him dying, him being dead for a really long time, never being in anything. Then all of a sudden, he's alive, and he's in the new Coming to America movie a couple of years ago. And then he died again, of course. But I remember him being dead for a really long time. I was shocked to find out he was still around.
Here with Bob
So that's
Barker.
a big one for me.
Even my family remembers Bob Barker dying.
I remember that too.
I read it in the newspaper, and then like a week later, I find out he was alive, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
And then I asked my sister about it, and she's like, yeah,
What
he
about
died.
you?
I'm like, no, he's alive. She's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I just misremembered it. I'm like, no.
Well, another big one for me is the JFK assassination. I'm 41, and my mom is 68. So she was alive when it happened, and she remembers watching it on television when she was like 7. And she said there was 4 people in the car, 4 seats, 4 doors. And you go back and look at it now, and there were 6 people in the car, and there's 6 doors. And the same thing with me. When I was growing up and the JFK movie came out, I remember 4 doors, 4 people, and it's different now. So,
well, when at what point did you realize that the Mandela effect was happening for you?
2020.
Okay, so you're with Jeff there. You guys kind of woke
Yeah.
up later.
Same as me.
You probably noticed some weird stuff's happening even before that, right?
Well, yeah, with song lyrics, especially, just like little things, like "With or Without You" from U2. I used to remember him saying, "I have climbed the highest mountains, and now the S is gone."
Mm-hmm.
That's
I noticed a lot of it.
Still haven't found what I'm looking for. Is what you're talking about. That's the song where he says that.
Yep. My dad pointed out something. He sent it to our chat there. How many times have you guys seen Home Alone during the Christmas holidays? Like, usually, everybody should raise their hand. I mean, we've all seen this movie a dozen times. And
Hundreds of times.
Like, you probably see it. What?
I've seen it hundreds of times.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you.
We were obsessed with it.
Rasker, let me ask you something then. Do you remember ever the dad, the dad of the dad in the movie? Do you remember him throwing away the tickets and you actually seeing the tickets in the trash can?
Yes, because the milk got spilled on them.
Right,
and he didn't realize it. He didn't realize that he was throwing away something else, but he accidentally tossed them in the trash.
He tossed the tickets in the trash. Yeah, my dad says he saw it, but he just didn't. I guess he didn't notice it before. Never saw that part before. Anybody else ever noticed that before? Anybody?
I don't remember that part.
Yeah. That's weird.
Is that in the movie or is it not in the movie?
No, it's in the movie. It's not like it's a. I don't think it was a deleted scene because it's an important piece of the puzzle. Yet I I remember the stuff getting spilled on. I just don't remember the picture of the trash can with the tickets in there. And all I remember was the stuff. I guess it was Pepsi or something that spilled on the. Or maybe it was milk.
Yep.
Something that got spilled on the tickets.
Yeah, because Kevin accidentally knocked into somebody and then bumped, and like everybody, like kind of domino effect.
Yeah.
I don't
Interesting.
remember showing that. I remember him picking up a bunch of stuff, but I don't remember that part.
Interesting. Yeah.
I know. Actually, I was watching a movie. I was trying to get the movie from my ex because he has a copy too. I love the moment after. I've watched like a zillion times. Like we memorized the entire movie. It was one of the very few Christian movies that my dad would let us watch. And there's actually an extra scene in it that I've never seen before. I got a copy. I was like, I'm just gonna buy this new copy. It's not an extended. It's just a normal copy. And there's a scene where they're at a basketball court where they're interviewing people, and now they're interviewing basketball players. And I'm like, I've never seen this scene before. So I'm trying to get the copy that I had before. Like we've owned it for like 10 years or something. So I'm trying to like get that copy. I just haven't gotten it yet to confirm that this wasn't like an added new, because you know how you get new DVDs and they can always throw in an extra scene or something like that. It's like I want to confirm with 1000% that scene has always been there, because it's weird because I'm like, I've seen this movie I don't know how many times. I said we watched it so many times where we literally like wore out the tape because we had it on VHS before we had it on DVD, and absolutely loved it. And I'm like, I don't remember this basketball scene where they're interviewing basketball players. So when I popped it in, I was totally freaked out about it. I'm like, where did that scene come from? And I know like other changes as well. Like we have Genesis on tape, and parts of Genesis is missing. Like the whole Esau's wedding is missing. It's barely even spoken of, and I'm like, I
Hey, what
remember
about this?
that scene.
What about this mysterious movie that everybody talked about with the genie, Shazam? Do you guys remember that in 1994?
I've
Saw
seen
it.
but it doesn't exist anymore.
You've seen it?
Saw the movie.
Yes, I remember watching it on Disney Channel.
Wow.
We
I,
watched.
I remember seeing it, and it's no longer available. You can't find it anywhere. And
No, it doesn't exist. And when they talk to Sinbad about it, he even says that he never filmed it.
yeah,
He gets angry about it too.
he does.
Yes, he does get angry about it.
Hey, how about the
Yeah.
9/11 thing? George W. Bush. Does anybody remember the book that President George W. Bush was reading on 9/11 to be different? The animal changed. If it was different or same, let me know. But the book is like upside down. Right? Isn't it like My Pet Goat, and it's like upside down or something?
I thought it was about a duck.
You're talking about a dog now. That's what I heard.
Really?
It was
Yeah,
My
they were
Pet
surprised.
Goat.
Dog, not a goat.
It was My Pet Goat. Now it's The Pet Goat. That's the change that I heard of with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not affected by that because I never paid attention to that. Whenever he come on the TV, I didn't even want to look at him, so I don't really care about that.
I didn't have TV at the time, so I was actually like in our store. We were spending the night actually upstairs in our store, so I wasn't even around cable. And I had a lady call actually that morning, and she's like, "Oh my word!" And we're like, "What?" I didn't even know what the Twin Towers was, and so I'm like, I had to look it up because I wasn't. I mean, now that I know what it is, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember like Home Alone and all of that, seeing it in movies, but I didn't at the time know the significance of the Twin Towers, as I wasn't really into all that stuff at the time. So. Yeah, it's kind of interesting with the book, though.
How about we get another caller in?
Nope. Brian just got kicked out.
Oh, is that what happened?
Oh, Sandy's backstage, and she can't come in until Brian comes. So, yeah, I can't wait to confirm that change in that movie because it totally freaked me out. Like I said, it was one of those I watched so many times.
Yeah, exactly. But
quote it. It's like Twister, like one of those. Like I literally could sit down and like write you the script. Like I know it so well.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch it a million. It's just like It's a Wonderful Life. I know that one really well too.
Yeah, it's like
so. Yeah, all you got to do, you know something really well. Periodically watch the whole thing through, and you could probably find new Mandela effects.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like one of my favorite movies is A Hard Day's Night, and I haven't watched it in a while. I'm kind of scared too because I found like 4 to 5 changes in the movie, and I'm like, every time I watch it, there's a new change in it. Like, I'm tired of watching it and finding a new change. Like there's a new line, or something has changed with the lighting, or this new part is added, or this they never had this sound. Now they have a sound effect to it, and I'm like, it's just frustrating because there was like a scene where they didn't have a sound effect, and I'm always like, why did they have a sound effect? And then the next time I watched it, the sound effect is there, and I'm like, there's so many changes now. Like I watch it now, there's an echo in the room, and it's like there was never an echo. And I like there's just like lighting changes. Like one has like a window, like the light is coming in the window and never was there before. And I'm like, or like they're on the train and there's a light behind them that's like really bright shining, and I'm like, that wasn't there before. And because it's a black and white film, so it's not like, when the lighting changes you notice it because it's black and white. And like the seats that they're sitting on in the train went from just plain old seats to now they have polka dots all over them, and I'm like, why does it keep changing? So like I said, it's hard to go back and like rewatch it because the last like 4 times I've watched it, I found a new change, and I'm like, I can't keep watching my favorite movie change in front of me. Because I mean, it's funny because it's the Beatles, and so that's where I found the most changes have been in their songs. Like Yesterday has a new sound change. There's now a clicking sound, and my absolute favorite song, Yesterday, that I listened to it about a zillion times, now has this weird clicking sound in the track. In both versions that I have on my my phone, I can hear it on both versions, and it's ticking me off because it was so pretty before, and now it's got this annoying clicking sound. And I'm like, no, it always sounded really nice. But hi, Sandy. And hey, Brian.
Typing away in the chat.
Oh, was that Sandy?
Oh, I was just typing away in the chat because I gotta type everyone's name exactly how they wrote it, or it doesn't highlight. So let's focus. That's all.
Yeah, we have. I don't even know how many people we have watching because I'm just in the chat with the.
We got about 30 people watching now.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. My computer totally blue screened, kicked me out. Sorry about that. So where were we?
What's that? Sorry, I'm reading a whole different chat here.
Well,
I see Sandy's there. Sandy, you look happy.
Yeah, I thought we were, dressing up for your birthday.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Is that real?
What?
What, Brian? What your mom just said in chat?
Ether.
About Trump not being in Home Alone.
Was it that clicks? You mean that statement?
No. The messenger.
Yeah.
Home Alone. I'm like, what?
About Donald Trump?
Yeah,
I
the
don't know. I'm
second.
gonna have to watch Home Alone 2 again because he's supposed to have a cameo. Trump is in the movie.
Did they cut
Yeah,
it? Did the liberal media cut it?
It's very possible they could have cut him out
They
of there.
did. They did. I heard about that.
Wait, you watched the movie and he's not there?
I didn't watch it with him not being there, but I heard that they took him out.
No.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
That's
him
really
being there.
messed
I
up.
bumped into him, and I remember him being in the movie. So
Yeah, your
My mom
mom
said
says that Trump is cut out.
Wow.
wow,
That's awful. How low do you have to go?
why? It was just a short little cameo. It's not like he was saying anything.
No.
He said like what, one line or something.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous the way they demonize him. Doesn't make any sense.
He was our
To take
president.
him out of that movie, it's too far.
Never seen anybody on this planet hate as much as him. That's all I could say.
For no
Yeah,
good
your
reason,
mom.
and I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly.
No good reason.
Yeah. I was able to
Oh,
get back in
yeah.
touch with Rasker, and he said thank you for having me on. I asked him if he had anything else he wanted to say, but he was good. So the lines are open if you guys want to talk. We have
Yeah,
time for probably one more caller, guys. Can you guys
yeah. Let's
post the
get
number?
another caller in there.
Well, thanks for
Here,
coming on.
let me copy and paste
thanks,
the number
Rasker.
again.
Just to be clear, I was dressing up for Brian's birthday. Today is Brian's birthday. But thank you, Frank.
Oh, Sandy, I don't mind celebrating it with you as well.
Oh, okay, but
It could be
call it my half birthday.
Well, yeah, your half birthday. Yeah.
We can share, right? Sharing is caring.
I'll turn on my camera briefly, but yeah, I'm actually wearing basically what I'm wearing in my picture.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian,
do not
Rasker
look
says
like my
Merry birth, Miss Brian.
Thank you.
And Frank says, Happy birthday, Brian. Super Mario Brothers, my birthday is August 16th.
Happy birthday,
Brian's
Santa. Brian, you just
But
need a
thank
white
you.
beard and you'll be set.
Yes, yeah, it's getting there. It's half white. It's turning colors.
Cool.
Yes,
Scroll it out.
baby.
See,
Any
normally
other
for someone's
Sagittariuses out
birthday-
there?
Normally for someone's birthday, we all dress up in birthday gear, but everyone.
Oh, I didn't. Brian, I didn't even know it was your birthday.
For real?
No, I didn't know it was your birthday.
You're kidding me.
No.
You must have been paying attention to the chat earlier. I think your mom was the first one to mention it, Brian. No. I think like 1 o'clock in the morning, everybody was wishing you a happy birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
Rasker says he remembers our solar system being on the arm.
Yeah, exactly.
On the Sagittarius arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, if no one's going to call in, we do have like 8 folders. So
We have how many?
I think 8. I'll count.
I don't know how much longer I'll be able
10.
to stay up.
We have
I've
10
already
folders.
10 folders. Okay. You
Ditto.
guys ready? We're actually
Let's get
starting
going.
the show now. No, I'm kidding.
That was just a preview.
No, that's the new segment.
You remember how those what do you call those sitcoms? Okay, you know how they'll usually open with like a scene, and it's like, well, where's the intro? They start the intro like 10 minutes into it. It's like that. So anyway, all right, what are we working with here first, Sandy?
You're going to start with Curious Your Stuff.
Because I have not seen any of this. This is like a birthday present here. I'm unraveling for you guys.
Thank you for staying up, Wizardry.
Yeah, thank you, Wizardry.
Yeah.
It was 5 a.m. there. Wow.
He must be over there in Europe, right?
England.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
I did send you a Christmas avatar, Tom, which still uses your avatar. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw it.
you sent one to me. I mean, yeah. I just didn't want the our use with
Yet.
the full ones and zeros.
We usually all match for the holiday.
As usual, Sandy, I think I'm going to attack the bottom first and work my way up. I
Yeah,
like
it's
doing
fine.
things that way.
Yes. Just don't do the private folder. Your mom might get upset because she's in it.
All right, so starting here with the first one.
Hmm.
Time is of the essence here. Come on, computer. Do your magic.
Welcome, Laurie.
Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
That's what you said, Tom.
Oh, you like that one?
Wait, is that a Velociraptor or what is that thing?
A weird
It's a
looking
freaking duck.
Geese.
No,
It's a
it's
duck
not.
with like teeth.
Since when do
It's
ducks
scary
have
looking
teeth?
big geese.
Well, do chickens have lips yet?
Well, if we're doing a rewind, I'm calling it a rewind plus because making fun of Disney Plus after our video, but also because there's new stuff added to it. So,
All right, so back in 2019, Sandy discovered that geese, ducks, penguins, and one type of toucan. But there's a lot more now, so I thought it's a good time to do a rewind. That's why Sandy's doing a
there is
rewind.
a totally different. It should also say have teeth, but I don't know why it's not there.
But just to be clear, these aren't the regular teeth. These are Tamiya teeth, protrusions from the beak made for better gripping, or keratin teeth. Think the spikes on a cat's tongue. Look at the spikes on a cat's tongue. My little angel kitties, Sandy above.
Hmm. I
Yeah, I know
remember
when
the cat's tongue always with like a sandpaper feel to it, but
oh my
I didn't
goodness.
look like that. Whew.
Can you imagine getting bit by one of those little guys?
What's up with on his tongue?
They have them on the roof of their mouth.
They got spikes just
Beak
not only
and
on the
tongue.
beak but on the mouth too. It's
Wow,
horrifying.
that hurts.
I have no memory of birds having this, and there are
No.
sometimes on the roof of the mouth or on the sides of the tongue, just like here in the picture.
I
Notice-
remember geese having like little ridge teeth, like little spiky teeth, because you're always like never ever get near a goose because they can bite and they'll hurt because they have little teeth, but not on their tongue.
And it's on the roof of their mouth too, Esther.
Yeah, but you see that goose also has blue eyes, and that may be strange as well.
Oh,
Well, thank God it's not brown.
So
100% not Photoshop. I need to say that. None of
besides
this is
penguins.
Photoshop.
Oh, okay. I'll get you some. So besides penguins, geese, and ducks, the toucan. Now we have a toucan with Tamiya teeth that actually look like regular teeth.
Which you will see on the next slide.
Maybe it's so he can eat all those Fruit Loops.
Thank you, Philippi.
Well, make sure he brushes his teeth.
Yeah, you got to brush. Yeah, now birds have to brush their teeth. Is that right?
Yeah, right. That's right.
Look at that. They got all jaggedy teeth there. You guys ever remember
Wow.
that?
Nah.
The birds
This is
have turned
totally
into
new to me.
sharks.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, flamingos have them too now.
Sandy, I'm calling BS on that one.
I know.
Are you serious? Flamingos having teeth?
Yeah.
I gotta look up those pictures.
They're the keratin type.
Well, did you know that flamingos actually can fly? For years I
No,
thought
they never could fly.
they can fly.
No, they don't. No way.
Yeah, and the main excuse is that a lot of places you go to see the flamingos, they snip their wings so they can't fly. I mean, that does kind of make sense, but then again, I've seen flamingos in swamps outside of the theme parks and wherever you see them at. So
I don't
so I don't
remember
know.
for me. Can't remember. I want to say they did fly, but then again, I've never seen them fly because they're always just standing around.
Yeah, they're usually standing
Standing
on
around
one.
wasting time.
Yeah, it's like that's. So I mean, if they flew, it was just because I just assumed that they could fly because they were a bird.
So
But I've never seen one fly either way.
yeah, me neither. It's maybe it's that whole observer thing where maybe they know they're being observed, so they behave differently. It's kind of like your children.
Should go.
When you're watching them, they tend to try to behave, but the moment you take their eyes off of them, they're going to be off the walls, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
brag about how well your kids are doing.
What?
The second you brag about how well behaved they are, they instantly go, "Oh, now I gotta
Yes.
run
Yes.
through the
And when they're
house."
being quiet is when you have to worry. So the double toothed kite has two tomia teeth like blunt fangs and a crazy tongue that whips out of the beak. Look at
Which
that.
I forgot to include a picture of, but you guys have to look it up when you get a chance. The
All
tongue
right.
We
just
do
whips
now,
out.
son. If they have a problem with their teeth, do we send them to a dentist or a veterinarian?
Probably a
that.
dentist. Do they have a pet dentist now?
Do they have a
you-
dental plan? That's the important thing.
Well, I'm going to send them the bill, okay?
There you go. Good one. Send-
Sorry, the dad in me came out there.
That's funny.
Finally, the tooth-billed blowerbird has keratin teeth, but I couldn't find a clear image online of inside the beak. So the bird is 100% a manned animal. I forget what imho means. What does imho mean?
Well, it could be in my honest or humble opinion. Either one.
In my honest observation, or
Opinion.
okay, there are several varieties, but all are attracted to the color blue. So steal blue items from people to build shrines of their stolen goods and stick towers and attract a mate. Well, I mean, the sky is blue, right? I mean, maybe that's
Yeah,
Maybe.
they probably
mean,
feel comfortable with blue.
blue is a very relaxing color. It also in symbolism it commands honesty. Like that's why if you ever go on a job interview wearing blue, the chances of you getting hired are higher.
Brian,
Yeah,
I need to tell your mom. Yeah, no, they're not real teeth. They're keratin. They are like ridges, but I'm calling them teeth because that's what they look like.
they look like teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, there's an issue with turkeys. Did you know that they try to bite each other? They bite each other's heads off whenever they fight.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen anything
No.
like
Is that one of them fighting now?
Yeah, when you take their eyes off, you know. When you say somebody's well behaved. That is weird, though. Like, wow.
Yeah. He should have left it on the previous picture because this is just them fighting. The other one, they're literally in each other's head. It's crazy. Never seen that before.
Okay. All right. Well, so let me just share some of these pictures here.
Oh, also, can you get back for 1 second?
Sure. Yeah.
I forgot to mention that I previously covered this as well. Hummingbirds on the black is the black beak on the right. Hummingbirds have the little keratin
Why?
things. Yeah.
Why do they need teeth? They only have like honey water stuff, like, you know. What? Why do they
I have
need
no
teeth?
idea.
It's not like they're chewing anything. I don't think
There's
they
also
eat
a
food.
rooster there in the middle on the
Those penguins, was it the Empire penguins or what are they called?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's creepy looking.
And a puffin.
Yeah.
Hey, Sorrow. I'm done typing names. It's
Oh, I
so
love
hard.
periwinkle as well. Periwinkle was my favorite color when I was a kid. When I was like 10. I loved that color forever.
I think Brian walked away again.
Looks like a dolphin. Yes. Yeah, that looks weird. Yes, I remember geese having like, they didn't have teeth, but they had like sharpness, like those ridges, like how they have those ridges on there, and that's
I mean,
why you
even
want to get your fingers in their mouth because of that.
you go to look at like even pelicans. Don't pelicans have those teeth now?
Pelicans I covered because I don't remember their beaks so narrow.
So I guess that's a close up. Is that what we're looking at there? A close up of those teeth?
Yes, of the keratin. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's literally the same stuff as your fingernails.
So that
They have fingernail teeth. There you go.
so the reason why we're sharing this is because of the turkey thing, right? It was Thanksgiving. We had that. The
Well,
turkeys.
no, also because there was more birds that now have the keratin and tomia teeth. That's why I added birds to it that weren't in the original presentation. That's all.
I like Job. Scientists, evolution takes millions of years to occur. The Mandela effect. Hold my beer. Yep.
Well, the Mandela effect
good.
may
We
actually
talking
prove.
about instant. It's like
The
instant coffee.
Yes, the Mandela effect may actually prove if it's been that is if it's been happening all along. Like some of us believe that the Mandela effect has been going on for probably millions of years. We're just now seeing
True.
it. We're waking up to it, so it's happening a lot more frequently.
Yeah, because we could compare notes between each of us with the internet. Before that, it's like you don't have anything. You get people to see the same thing, then they compare the notes where you wouldn't run that in without the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's probably been happening for millions, billions of years.
So we're having some logo issues here, guys. According to Sandy, there's some logos that need to be addressed here.
Mm-hmm. REO Speedwagon sticks in Chicago.
Okay, so this is up. This is probably more up your alley, Esther. Would you like to read some of these? Yeah, I'm trying to fix the image just right here. Hold on.
Yep. I can't read it. Hi, General Sorrow.
It is moving really slow, trying to get it to shrink down and.
I wouldn't zoom in. I would just leave it as is and make it full screen.
There. That's about the best I can do right there.
I can read it.
Okay.
I got my glasses on. So I want to discuss some logo issues connecting 8-track tapes and the bands Rio Speedwagon, Styx, and Chicago. Yeah, Folgers Cafe. Sorry, I'm reading the chat too. Two 8-track logos are completely merged. GRT and TC8. I find this very unusual for tapes back in the 1970s, besides the fact that merging letters were never a thing in my childhood. Yeah, it wasn't really much of a thing when I was a kid either.
And the
Yeah.
P and the R
Sorry.
are one letter.
Okay, so you read this one?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not a huge Styx fan, so I could be wrong on this one, but I do not remember the Y being that short, and 100% do not remember the lines through the logo. So both have been a part of the logo since 1975.
You guys remember the lines? Because that's the only thing that really bothers me. I don't
No.
remember them.
Is that always on there now?
They have two
That's
logos.
weird.
and-
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, the
Never.
lines have been on there for years.
Unfortunately, don't know the band, so I can't really chime in.
Well, that's
And the
Mr.
Y looks
Roboto,
wrong.
right? Del
Yeah,
Mar,
Mr.
Mr.
Roboto.
Roboto.
Yeah. So what's the next one? Chicago.
Which Chicago logo looks closest to your memory, top or bottom?
I got to hear
Doesn't
what my
have to be
parents have
exact.
to say about this one because they love Chicago.
Once again, it's not. I mean, I would just assume it would be number 2, but that would just have
Yeah,
to
the
be.
one on the bottom, I think, is the one that I remember.
The one on the top is so stick together you can't even read it. I wouldn't
Yeah,
even
it's
go through
typical.
the C.
It's a typical Mandela when you get mergings of letters and stuff. That's because I remember back in my early days, nothing was merged. Nothing. No letters, no logos. It's just that started happening in 2017. Remember that, Brian, when everything was starting to merge up?
Yeah.
Guys, don't say neither. I'm asking which is closest. Because again, it's very hard
Yeah,
to
the bottom
manipulate
one.
this stuff.
Yeah,
If
the
it's not
bottom
perfect,
seems
it's
to
which
be.
one's closer.
If I just read the top one, just looking at it, and you didn't tell me what the name was, I would literally go Chicago. I wouldn't even
Chicago.
see the C. I would literally like, what? Oh, it's Chicago. It would literally take me a second to realize it would actually be there.
That's not even the right logo at all. It's not even either one is definitely not.
Yeah, they both
It's
don't even look right, but the bottom one is
no, they
more
don't.
readable, but the
Yeah,
top
neither
one
one
is
looked right to me either. I'm gonna say that because of the C. The C is what's bothering me. But I didn't have time
Yeah.
to mess with it.
and the fact that the top one also has the I connected with the C, and that also is something that they didn't do, at least not from what I remember.
You mean the C being the dot on the I?
Yeah, the dot on the I when it comes down, and like how the F does that with the I on Facebook now.
Is Jeff here?
Yeah, he's here.
Jeff?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, because you haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, they say that just doesn't look right. I mean, it looks like Chicago. It doesn't look like Chicago.
No, that's not it. I mean,
No,
neither
it's-
one.
The C swallowed up the dot and the I. I mean,
Yeah. The C was never that big. Not at all.
No.
I gotta
But like
find
I said,
some
I didn't have
residue in
time.
there.
It was too much. I didn't have time. I was rushing to get this out.
That's a new one to me, though. I didn't really. I like the group. I listened to it, but I haven't seen a logo in a long time. But that's none of that is what it is. It's a lot more readable, not crazy.
What are my parents saying in the chat about the Chicago?
Yeah,
All they're saying is that it used to be Chicago Transit Authority.
Which one do they remember?
They didn't answer.
Oh,
Oh no, your mom said top.
she remembers the one on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the top one does look more funky.
Guillermo Sara says, "Heck if I know."
Yeah.
And
It
your
reminds
dad says top too.
the Cheers logo a little bit, like the.
Yeah, it does. It does look like the Cheers logo. Yes, I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
I see it. That's what I'm thinking of, but it's a whole different thing.
You can go on, Brian.
Okay, well
We
they
got a lot
remember
to
the top.
cover. We are totally. I remember the bottom. Well, not.
Yeah,
I don't
I remember
remember the
the bottom.
top. Let's put it that way. I don't remember the
yeah.
top.
The bottom I would go with, but
So in my
Still.
past, which I'm guessing would be Sandy's, while not perfect, I remember the bottom logo I do not remember the C being the dot over the I and the G and the O connecting, or the letters being so close that. Oh my word, they're literally touching. It looks like two hands. Like when you do the heart symbol, that's what it looks like.
Yep.
But letters instead.
Okay, Brian.
Weird.
The rest of the sentence is on the next slide.
You can barely read the band's logo on the cover of the 1982 to 89 Greatest Hits album that owned and played consistently in the early 90s. Do you remember their logo looking like this?
There's no way. It did not look like that at all.
No,
It doesn't even look readable.
it's
Cool,
unreadable.
but it's not readable.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about song changes, right? One of the major ones I noticed was "Hey Soul Sister." How the lipstick on the front lobe of my left side brains makes no sense. Well, how about the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Take Me Out blank the crowd"? I remember "Take Me Out to the Crowd" is now "with the crowd." It's a bunch of nonsense, really. So these are some more what you're seeing now, and it kind of looks like they did some artwork there to make it look like it was the Coke logo, right?
Yeah. Look at the flag one. You can't even read it. Like, you can't read it at all.
No, you can't read it. You're right.
I definitely can't. It looks like Chicago. Like I said, I just can't even read it. It doesn't look right.
Well, as you guys know, I have to trace these things in case they change again multiple times.
H looks like an F.
Yeah, so the C. You guys see my cursor on the screen? I'm tracing the C.
Well, the one on the top in the middle with the black and white, it literally looks like an FUCAGO. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I see the F too.
Yeah, that's it.
Fukag. Actually, it looks like an A. Fukaj.
Yeah, it does look like an E instead of an O. It's just weird looking.
Hey guys, I'm going to jump off. I got to get up in the morning.
Hey, no problem,
wait,
Tom. Thanks. Thanks for coming on, Tom. We'll see you next week.
Oh, I
All
made
right.
a folder just for him.
Oh no. Okay. Well, can we do that folder real quick?
All right, we'll do the folder. Let's roll the folder.
You want to jump to the rewind? So we're going to stop in the middle of this one and come back.
Okay, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to this one. Remember where we were at.
You want to do the other rewind, the pink one.
Okay.
Because I found out the Flickr deleted it, so I redid the folder for you.
Which one is it, Sandy?
Let me see what I named it.
Is it the Brian B. Day Rewind City Line? That one?
That's it. That's it.
City Line. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's more than that. It's 3 changes all within like 3 miles. But I've got the residue for you.
Come on, I'm trying to change over. Come on.
You want to read this one, Tom?
Yeah, sure. I got it. All right. In 2019, I covered a local street and town that had changed. Flickr deleted this album, so I am covering it again and adding something else I found. Question number 1. Multiple choice. Oh, wait. Oh, I got to read the top here.
It's really, it's not necessary, and it's really small. It's okay.
Okay. Question 1, multiple choice. Well-known Philadelphia road, which spans multiple counties. City Ave or City Line Ave. What does people out there remember? Was
I
it
don't know.
City Ave or City Line
I
Avenue?
don't even know if anybody's gonna know any of these.
You got to be from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area to really know this one.
Yeah.
I grew up on the Jersey side outside of Philly, and we got to
I
hear
still
what
know
people
it.
say. Aha, General Sorrow said line.
Oh, Wizardry has a City Ave, but now City Line. Well, it's a flip flop for Wizardry then.
I've only driven through Pennsylvania, like ridden through that several times, but unfortunately I don't remember names of streets.
I'm glad you can vote General Sorrow because there's 2 more.
Wish I could have an answer. Been to Hershey's Chocolate Factory many times. Pennsylvania.
Not close enough, but yes.
Yeah. That's the part of Pennsylvania that we drove through all the time.
Anita says
City Line. Yeah, General Sorrow definitely is right on the money. Yeah, he never heard of City Avenue. It's City Line Avenue. And I think you were telling me yesterday, there, Sandy, that you have residue of all that with the newscasters from Philadelphia and all
I don't
that.
have the video residue. That's the folder it was deleted. But I do
Oh,
have
okay.
a ton. So we should move on, Brian.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Tom.
All right. So that's it, right, for my folder here? Oh, wait, here.
No.
Oh, here's another one. I'm sorry. This road, getting tired. This road was always City Line Avenue in my past, but it's always been City Avenue in this reality. Absolutely not.
No, that's BS.
It's BS, Brian. Absolutely. And here we go with, okay. On this road sits many businesses, including shopping centers, local news stations, and hotels. One of the hotel's names changed too.
I doubt anyone's going to know this.
Okay. This business no longer exists, but I pass this building 4 times a day driving. Joey to and from work. I know what it was called. This used to be the North American Motor Inn, but now it's Inns, which looks and sounds so wrong. Finally, a little further up the City Line Avenue, there's a town that has changed. Multiple choice again, folks. If you know this place, do you remember Narbeth or Narrabeth? Am I pronouncing that
Narbeth or
correctly?
Narber.
Narber.
Yes. And I found out it's also in Wales. Same town. I don't think anyone's going to know this stuff.
On a side note here, you know, parallel lines have so much in common. It's sad they never get to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Wizardry says Narbeth. Thanks, Wizardry.
Notice we keep hearing about more and more parallel universes. You know, I don't know if that's it's generating a lot of curiosity. You know,
You can go on, Brian, because the only one who knew it was you. Yeah.
Oh, 10,000. This was Narberth in my past, but it's always been Narberth, which really, what's really interesting.
What's really interesting is that it's in Wales too. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Wait,
I
let's
said go
go
ahead.
back to,
Yeah.
yeah. Many towns and streets in this area are names after places in Wales. Narberth and Narberth, no, I'm not pronouncing it right, is no different. This person located in Narberth, Pembrokeshire, Wales, remembers Narberth just like I do.
hmm So the town in Wales is also Narberth, but this person in Wales remembers it like I do, Narbeth.
So they got changed as well in Wales.
hmm
Yeah, it's typical. Okay. Like I previously stated, hopefully the residue will show those of you who have never heard of these places that my reality existed because of personal MEs can more be upsetting than anything else.
It should be 10B more. And then the whole thing got messed up and I had to fill it in after. So here's a ton. Oh, Brian, can you stop for 1 second and hit refresh? Because I forgot to upload the old maps. And I just added it. And it's not going to show up unless you refresh the page. Because I want Tom to see the maps. That was the most important slide.
Color.
Is Brian still here?
What?
Yeah.
I said, I need you to
Refresh.
refresh the page.
Yeah, yeah. Do I need to refresh right now or
Or you can refresh when you get to the end, that's fine. There's a lot though. Don't stay on them too long after City Line. Okay? Like after the City Line ones. There's a lot. It's the old presentation stuff plus some new stuff.
all right, you want me to get out of this one for now?
No,
Or
no,
keep
no.
going?
Keep going.
No, keep scrolling.
Okay.
So right there is a swizzle stick. It's actually printed City Line.
Wow, there's tons of residue.
There's a ton.
And you sure there's no other City Line Avenue?
Oh, Raleigh. Sorry, Raleigh. Yeah, no, positive. You can see it right there. City Ave. It's just City Avenue. So we've just all been saying it wrong? I doubt it.
More residue for City Line Avenue.
On swizzle sticks again, different company. They made it one word though. All right, this is interesting. It says, Dear Mia, where is Philadelphia? Never heard of it. Hope to see you soon. Never heard of Philadelphia.
Oh.
Anyway, I just thought that was weird with City Line app when they write it on the postcard. That's all.
Wow,
It's a weird message.
look at that.
All these businesses and people putting where they live. Oh, now we're at Narberth now. So you can go quick, a little bit faster, Brian. There's a lot. I don't want to keep Tom up, but I want you to get to that last slide.
Okay.
Have a good night, Joe. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Hey, good night, Joe.
Good night, Joe. Keep scrolling, Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, he
There's
does,
plenty for
it's the
Narbeth.
computer sometimes too. It goes slower.
Yeah, residue from newspapers really come through really good. I mean, you'll
Yeah,
find
you have.
tons of rest.
Well, yeah, and they
Because
also have
that's
editors. There's editors that they get paid to edit the news articles, right? You have the writers, then you have the editors, and so they should be coming out right. So that's why
you could
newspapers
keep
have great
scrolling.
residue.
No, he can't. When he's talking, he stops.
That's very pretty. What is that building there with all the pretty colors on it, the neon colors?
That is how it looked back in the day, or they refreshed. Oh, you didn't have to refresh. Here it is. So this is the slide you want to stay on, Brian. So this is the very, very, very old maps. The Pennsylvania map, it says City Avenue is from, I believe, the 1700s or the early 1800s. And I'm showing that with, like, there's county line roads and township line roads, but City Line Ave is City Ave here. All the old maps. Going all the way back, it's City Ave. The line is just not there. But there's a
Wow.
space for it. They could easily write the word line right in there.
Yeah, right.
Looks like it was just erased.
But there is a line between City and Avenue. Maybe they're visually trying. I don't know, just making stuff up.
No. That's because I'm making the line is from me enlarging it so you can read it.
Yeah.
But you would see line written in one of them if it was there. It's not there. I just made it larger so you could see it better. It was smaller.
And there's a gap. Yeah, there's that weird gap between City and Avenue right there, right?
Yeah, there is a gap.
Yep.
Maybe it's because it really was City Line Avenue.
Of course it was.
It absolutely
What
was.
else would it be? Of course it was
Willoughby.
City Line now.
It could be Willoughby.
It's Willoughby.
No, it's a typical Mandela effect, which is part of the greatest show on earth.
So you ever watch that Twilight Zone where the guy gets on the train or whatever, and he ends up like in the South, like 100 years ago or something like that? He was trying
Oh
to get away.
yeah. And he had to get his boy some medicine or something. He had a
I think
fever.
so. Yeah, it was called
Yeah, I
Willoughby
remember
or
that one.
something. All right, Tom. Well, if you got to go,
Hi.
I understand.
I gotta go.
It's okay.
All right. Well, you have a good night, Tom, and we'll see you
All
next
right.
week.
Catch you next week. All right.
brother.
Have a good one.
Talk
All
to
right.
you later.
Love you guys.
Love
Good
you,
night,
too.
Tom.
Good night.
All right, now we have to get back to REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Tom.
He's already gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. All right, where are we now? We're back in the
REO
logos.
Speedwagon. Yeah. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff today. So
Okay, we were actually almost done with the logos.
yeah, the REO Speedwagon. I think it's the last one in that folder. Yeah, I saved that one for last year. There's actually a little bit of residue.
Okay, a little delay there.
Hi again, Raleigh.
Okay.
All right, we're on the next slide. And Esther, you want to continue? Esther, are you here? Or maybe she's not here. All right. Well, finally, REO Speedwagon. I have no memory of REO like this. Even the original logo for the truck is messed up like this. It's like almost like a pyramid. I remember them next to each other, not the E sitting above and the R connected to the O. In a lot of things, it looks like RFO instead of REO. Here's some residue. REO. Especially the drawing in the top left.
You want me to read it, Sandy?
Yeah, you can read it. Go ahead.
Okay. Did we read the last slide?
I did. But yeah,
Okay.
you can go. You can go.
So thankfully, some people drew it the way I remember, with the plates from the truck are closer to what I remember as well. Do you remember the REO next to each other, or the pyramid of letters like it is now? Let me go back a minute. That's weird, yeah.
I don't remember it like that. I don't remember the E higher, and I don't remember the R and the O connecting. But for the R and the O to connect, the E needed to go higher.
Yeah, so you're saying the E is much higher now. It's up above the
And it's always been
R
like
and the
that.
O.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like the one on the right looks like RFO. It's not right.
Yep.
And on the actual the wagon, look at the bottom. The bottom. Look at the R. It's completely open. It's Deo. Jeff, do you want to read one? You are so quiet.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's next. I forget the order of stuff.
Okay. So let's talk about these. Let's see. How about let's talk about this thing with alcohol, I guess. Um,
Yeah, it has to do with food.
Jeff, you want to take the next two? There's only like 5 or 6 pieces in each folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this one is a weird one that I believe could be an ME. Yes or no? In your past, did fruits and other foods naturally contain alcohols that can affect sobriety?
Yes or no in the chat. And Brian, Esther, if you're still here, Jeff, if you guys want to chime in.
Now, the way I recall is like watermelons. Like, for instance, you could supposedly ferment a watermelon and it would turn into, like, say, vodka or something like that.
I'm not talking about fermented. I'm talking about fresh.
Oh, no.
Not for me, not fresh.
If we're counting fermentation, then yes.
No fermentation.
Well, then you got to be kidding me. You know.
I do not remember any fruits or vegetables ever having any alcohol content in them.
Nope,
Without,
me either.
other than
Have a good
apples.
night. Have a good night, Raleigh. Thanks for being here. Love you guys too.
I mean,
Frank says no.
I have smelled apple juice after it's been out for about a week without being refrigerated. Once you open it, it does have a nasty smell, but that's it's not freshly squeezed, you know.
Yep.
So you
But
didn't.
that's on the fresh list. So we go on, Brian. Yeah, Jeff.
In my past, the answer is no. I know fermented fruits and juices naturally contain alcohols, but the list of fresh foods and fruits that contain alcohol is completely new to me.
Hmm.
Fresh fruits and juices, including pineapple, pears, apples, grapes, and bananas.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Okay.
I have also always been told that cooking with alcohol burns off the alcohol, imparting just the added flavor. But this is not always true either. Am I the only one who didn't know this?
So apparently, sometimes the alcohol burns off and sometimes it doesn't. And people who have had problems with alcohol can actually be triggered to drink by eating fresh foods and cooked foods because of the low alcohol content from what I've read online. I can't confirm this. I don't know if it's absolutely true, but they are reporting this.
Yeah, I know tiramisu does have a little bit of wine, usually Marcella, in it. But yeah, I was told by a chef that don't worry, it cooks. The alcohol content gets evaporated while it's cooked. Because I was pregnant at the time when I was eating tiramisu, and I ate a lot of it.
Well, I was eating. I used the tiramisu picture because it was pretty. But I'm talking about like meats, what's it called? I can't think of the name of it right now. There's a lean cuisine I love. It's like a red wine beef one. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, so I know Marcella is usually used for tiramisu because that's the one that, like dry Marcella, is usually that's the one that's recommended. I don't use that. I use raspberry juice, where you get the same tartness, but I don't have to worry about the alcohol because I feed it to my kids and stuff, and I don't like to. I find that if I'm gonna spend $14 on a bottle, I should be drinking it and not using a
Esther,
tablespoon.
the word you just said, raspberry, has always been Mandela to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the P in raspberry.
Me either. I
Yeah,
thought that was weird too.
yeah, that's a new one for me too.
Anyone else affected by that one?
I'm actually not. I do remember
Really?
the pig.
You always remember the P?
I don't remember it either.
Not now. Say like blue raspberry where they make it ZZ. There's no P. But for me, the regular word does have a P.
Joe Bloor says sesame seeds opium. Is that true?
Yes, sesame seeds can
No, it's
actually.
It's poppy. Poppy seed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always thought it
yeah.
was poppy seeds.
Yeah, sorry, wrong one. I'm tired. Yeah, the poppy
Okay.
seeds. If you eat too many, it can pop. Like you can show up on a drug test. Yes,
Mhm.
I've always been told like if you're gonna go for drug testing, don't have poppy seeds.
Yeah, I heard that before too.
All right, Jack, you're continuing, right?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. That's another thing too. You know that phrase "open sesame." Did you know it's actually "open says me"? Like "open up, I say," like "says me."
Yes, we
I always
covered
thought it was
that.
"open sesame."
Yep.
Go ahead.
I always thought it could be said both ways.
"Open says me."
I always said it. Open sesame.
Yeah, that's what I always say too.
I've heard people say it both ways before. Never really thought anything of it. Just like the way they talked, I assumed.
Oh, like with their accent, like Arabian accent.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Credit Curiouser. Recently, an article has been circling the internet and world news outlets about a group of sheep on a Chinese farm. that supposedly walked in a circle for 12 days straight. But is that the whole truth? No one knows for sure if they walked consistently for 12 days. The assumption is they would have had to stop for food and water, otherwise, they wouldn't survive. Scientists say this is actually normal behavior. Sheep are known to follow the herd and will even circle around a sick or hurt animal for protection. They also believe it could be because of overcrowding in a small pen.
And I do want to mention the sheep circling in one pen of like 30 plus pens. So I don't know if I wrote that on the slide or not. So I think that's a man's excuse with the size of the pen. Because the other sheep weren't doing it in the other pens, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was watching a video tonight. Actually, it was one of those shorts that said, you're connected, you're connected, kind of like with nature. And the person was sitting in the like a beach. I'm going to guess it was probably an ocean. And they had a whole bunch of fish that swam around her in a circle, like all the way around her. Like she was in the center, and all the way around her there was the fish going in a circular motion. It was very interesting. It's kind of like watching this, but instead of having like open, there was a lady sitting in the middle of it.
Guys, am I robot-y or is Esther?
It might be me.
Neither of you guys are robot-y to me.
Yeah, neither to me either.
Guys, I'm having audio issues. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to leave and come back. I'll be right back.
Oh, now I hear it.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe that's kind of what's going on with because I watched that where the lady was sitting in the middle of it, that maybe there's something, a force that we can't see sitting in the middle of that, and they're just circling it. Like, either it's be a frequency or some kind of
maybe
energy.
it could just be like they were saying, it could be for like creating a circle of protection. Like the enemy would have a harder time, picking out the one, or taking out the whole thing, the whole herd of them, But if they're in a circle, they're somewhat protected.
Hmm.
I don't know. I've seen horses do that too.
Yeah. But so, I'm just wondering it because we're talking about like frequencies, because animals are probably in tune to it. They have like, when they say like bad weather's about to happen or something,
Yeah,
in animals
dogs.
differently.
If you have
So,
anyone have dogs out there that can sense bad weather?
well, yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe like maybe there's some sort of frequency in that patch of area that goes through, whatever it is.
Well, birds have this built-in sense about them, where that they always will fly south for the winter, and they can sense when, like, if there's the slightest bit of temperature change.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that's the same thing. I mean, it's animal instinct,
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that they're testing out different frequencies, like they're,
Yeah,
certain
I've also
people
heard
are
birds
going.
falling out of the sky. I mean, there were news reports about that, and cows dropping dead in the middle of the field or whatever. I don't know, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
That could
That's
have a
what,
lot to do with frequencies.
for all we know, is they're
It
going
could.
around with like these different instruments that we
We
don't.
just got a brand new 5G tower up where I live, probably like 2 or 3 months ago. And it's nice that we have better service, but I'm wondering about the long-term effects of it, and we still don't know the actual truth to the long-term effects of 5Gs.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sandy backstage.
okay. I think we're done with this one. Did we read this slide? I'll bring her in after we
I don't
read
think
this
I
slide.
read this one. No.
Okay. You want to read that one real quick, Jeff?
Yeah. I should mention that there are 30 plus identical pens, but only this pen had sheep in a circle. Do you believe this is just natural behavior or a sign that something like an earthquake or other natural disaster is coming?
It's all up for speculation at this point. I wish I knew like a Dr. Doolittle who could talk to the animals and ask them, themselves. Or I wish I had that myself. Let's get Sandy back in here.
That's another ME, Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, Dr. Doolittle is Dr. Dolittle, right?
Yeah, I remember it with the 2 O's.
Me too.
Yes.
Oh, it changed?
Covered that.
Yeah, Dr.
we covered
Doolittle
that a
has
while
one
ago.
O.
Okay, that's weird now. Yeah, because I always remember it with 2.
That
I
one
guess
changed a long time ago.
I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember I watched it when Robert Downey Jr. was in that.
Yeah, the
new
Robert
one.
Downey Jr. one. That was the one I watched too with the remake. I've seen the first one though too.
I
And wasn't
remember
there one like a Nutty Professor type deal? It was like, wasn't there a Dr. Doolittle like
was
a
an older
parody
version.
movie? Okay, I thought it had maybe Eddie Murphy in it or something.
It did, yeah.
Oh yeah, that
In the
that
early
was
2000s.
yeah.
Dr. Doolittle.
And then the daughter took it over, and she was able to talk to people, or not people, but sorry, animals. Oh my, I'm tired, so my.
Are you a people whisperer?
At least humans can talk. Yeah, except for me, I don't know. I'm thinking the
You
animals.
understand
It
people?
might be just a frequency that they're hearing that we can't hear. That it's probably maybe vibes in the ground or something. Because they're connected, and especially when you think about it, like they say, get earth or grounded or whatever. You go outside and walk with your shoes and socks off and stuff like that to ground your feet. So it's, I mean, you think about animals; they don't have shoes on their feet, so they can actually feel the vibrations in the earth. So it might just be a frequency in the earth.
It still astounds me how, like humans and animals, we have this circadian rhythm that makes us go to bed by a certain time, and then we wake up at a certain time, and our bodies are used to that to recharge.
I don't have one.
Why can't we just keep on going forever without resting? Why do we need rest? Right?
Yeah, I wish we could not have to sleep so much. That would be great.
Because you do sleep away a third of your life. It's been proven.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me, I sleep a little bit more. I have to have a lot of sleep or I can't function.
I sleep a lot.
Well, like we all have a little bit of Rip Van Winkle in us.
Oh, Sandy's really quiet for some reason.
If Sandy she says she sounds robot-y if I try to turn up her volume.
No,
So she ends up.
We can try it, but it goes crackly. We can see if they fixed it.
Yeah, it goes crackly.
Let's see if they fixed it.
Anyway, Jeff, you read the last 2, right?
Let me know if I start crackling.
All right, I will. Esther, can you read this one? You want to do the next 2?
I could try.
All right.
This may not be a Mandela effect, but it's a huge tourist attraction I've never heard of, and that's beautiful. So I'll let you decide if this is new to you, to your reality or not. It looks like a bridge over it. Every winter in Japan, something spectacular happens to Otsu? Otsu, okay. Beach in Toyokoro. On Haka. Why can't they just pronounce it normal? The island. The beach becomes filled with jewelry ice. That's pretty interesting. The nearby Takarai River freezes, and the ocean breaks up, and the ice sending thousands of clear ice blocks in unique shapes onto the beach. Because the ice is so clear, it sparkles like diamonds in the sunlight. The ice appears to change color depending on the light from the sun. Clear in the day, red at sunset, blue or purple at dusk. Oh,
That's interesting.
that's cool. I like the purple ones.
Yeah,
Blue
me
are
too.
cool. Have you ever heard of jewelry ice before? It's probably just something new to me, not an ME, but I still wanted to share it. Wow. That is cool.
That is freaking cool.
Look at all that cubic zirconia.
And lots of it.
It looks like glass, actually. It's like a big.
Mhm.
But you know, like honestly, like cubic zirconia looks a lot like diamond,
Mhm.
doesn't it? It's very close. It's like from a distance you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
Blurple. Yeah, blurple should be a color. Isn't that just periwinkle?
I'm not sure.
Because blue and purple is periwinkle. Oh. You said I like blurple.
I forget what that effect is that where you look at something and you're thinking, well, gee, that looks like, you know, what is that phenomenon? There's like a phenomenon where something looks like something else. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember what that's called. Periwinkle is blurple. Yeah, basically.
I have
I
no
like
idea, Ryan.
purples.
For some reason, when you say periwinkle, I'm just thinking about like those little propeller hats on Alice in Wonderland, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I don't know why I'm thinking about that.
The ones that were there now aren't.
Yeah, now they're flags.
So stupid, the flags.
And now it's not even flags. In a lot of them, including the original drawings, they have nothing on them.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I covered that a few months ago.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time, so I wouldn't know if it's changed at
And
all.
the cartoon, they still have the flags. I'm talking about the original drawings for the books.
Oh, and the
and
original
stuff.
drawings, yeah.
Oh.
And a lot of artwork.
Okay, what is this folder, Sandy?
This is residue. Logos and res. You can go through this fast. For some reason, they have a Mickey Mouse with suspenders. I know some of you remember the
Well,
suspenders.
how does he keep up his pants now? Without
I
suspenders?
don't know. It's got buttons for suspenders, but no suspenders. See, now
He
I
just
remember
hopes for the
gold,
best.
and they're white now. So this is residue of the gold.
Yeah, so you can see my screen, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now my earpiece is beeping in my ear. It's amazing. So the C3PO doesn't have the crown around his head. He just has that antenna thing at the top, a bump for it. But that big crown is gone. That's how I remember his head. White eyes. I'm gonna switch sides, guys. Can you guys talk so I can see if I can hear you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
I'm
so
switching
effective.
sides because the left is beeping in my ear. Ryan, we gotta move. There's a lot. You're just starting the new stuff. So these are snow globes that my mom has, and I covered the hat a long time ago. The top left and the top right, he's got light blue moons and stars on his hat now. I remember yellow and white. I have a dual memory, but there's yellow and white on official Disney snow globes, but he also has the blue inside the snow globe. So, Sound of Music. Fizzy covered her shirt turning black. I don't think she said the skirt did,
Sandy,
and
you
I
are
don't remember the
crackly
skirt
now.
being black. Huh?
You're sounding very crackly now.
Fixed. So I don't remember the skirt being black. We talked about the shirt because Fizzy covered that. I don't remember her wearing all black. because she was in training. She wasn't a nun yet. She wasn't a sister. And we remember like a light blue. And the shirt changed to black, and now the skirt did as well for me. I don't remember her dressed head to toe in black. And Sound of Music's all merged, and Gallant, the ALA. I've covered that before, but I saw a commercial recently with it. A really old commercial, so I put it in.
The H looks weird for some reason on the Sound of Music. Am I seeing that,
Yeah,
or
the
are you
T.
guys seeing?
That's what I said. The T and the H is merged.
Yeah, it's
right.
so weird. It's just so weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Imagine
Hey,
Dragons. I don't remember the
No.
logo like this.
Well,
I
the D is extremely messed up. It's broken, and I know I covered that before, but yeah, the letters are slanted all crazily. The R is broken. The E's have like angled edges, and I don't know. It's all messed up.
So the bottom is a logo for I don't even know what the logo is for. It doesn't match up with National Tennis Center. But the A.
We're gonna have to go through a little bit faster on some of these.
Brian, I've been telling you to go faster since I got on the show.
I know. So Darth Vader, this is the mask changes.
No, look. The bottom,
No, what?
go back to it, Brian. The bottom left, the whole mask is silver. The whole
Jeez.
thing. And then the top left is that picture of him on set with the mask off. Look, it looks like a skeleton. It's so messed up. Like the way it's silver, black, silver, black, silver, black. And then if you zoom in on the Brian, zoom in on the ones on the right, something weird's happening on the bridge of the nose. Zoom in on the blue ones.
Which one?
The blue ones. Look at the nose. It looks like silver on the outside and black in the middle. Like teeth.
Yeah. Dog food.
These are really old cameras, and we got the O's overlapping. The C and the O is overlapping. I mean the zeros, not the O's. Cinestill, when it's on top of one another, it makes a big S. The X's are merged and cut out. The UM's one letter. All right, you can go on. I'm saying stuff real fast. So this is really old Kodak gold.
No,
The gold.
no. The O was not broken like that.
The D is broken. The G is the O is broken. But then at the top, there's royal gold, and the R is going through the O. The L is going up in the air. So weird. T Max is now connected and slanted. Wrong. And the A is a pyramid. And check out the ones at the first number. It's only the first number. So the ones and the fours. All right, he's gone. And Kodak Max has, okay, you're not, I'm already off of it. Can't even explain. Hopefully you guys got that. So I covered the fish in your freezer glowing a couple weeks ago. I couldn't find this video. I found it again, so I want to show it to you. You see it glow. Go ahead, Brian. Hit play.
Yeah, the fish actually glow.
Yeah.
Is that all fish or just this one?
No, it's a lot of different fish. We covered that a couple weeks ago.
I know we did. Okay, that's the end of that folder.
What happens, criminal? I don't drink energy drinks. Not with a heart condition, not good. What's next, Brian? Same here. Occasionally I'll have a root beer. I don't really drink soda.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, I'll read this one.
Okay.
So years ago, Sandy covered the Hanna-Barbera. Okay, this is an older Mandela effect. That's a rewind, though.
No, it's not. It's just something I'm mentioning.
Well, something
It's all
else you're
new stuff.
introducing.
Yeah.
So Hanna-Barbera is now Hanna-Barbera, and since then many HB cartoon characters have changed.
But I did include some residue. Go ahead.
There is residue. Now, first, since I mentioned HB changing, there is some new residue of my reality. Hanna, Hanna dash Barbara, Barbara. So it looks like Barbara, right?
Yeah, but you're pronouncing it the way I remember Barbara.
Now, if you look at the residue on IMDb, it has it spelled with Barbara, like the way we remember. There actually is, like on the bottom of that little stickers, it says up here at the top, Sandy has it labeled or zoomed in, Hanna-Barbera Production Company, Inc., 1975, and it's spelled with an A. Again, more residue for Hanna-Barbera, Barbara. More residue.
Less residue.
Hanna-Barbera
Barbarians.
Barbarians, yeah, of the galaxy. That's pretty cool. When did they come out with that?
They didn't. Someone made that.
The Fooey problem, yeah. So what is his character's name? In my past, he was Hong Kong Fooey.
All right, wait. So you remember Hong Kong Philly, and how do you spell Philly?
Hong Kong Fooey?
You spell it like that, or you spell it differently?
I think it was spelled like that. I don't know.
All right, stay here. Let's see what the chat says.
Actually, I don't know his name.
No, don't just say Philly. I want to know the full name. What do you remember? Full name. What are you gonna say, Esther?
Oh, I unfortunately I don't really know the name of this dog.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a dog, but
It is a dog.
they
It's
keep
a dog.
changing stuff, saying that like Goofy's a cow and Hello Kitty's not a cat.
Yeah, I know. Hello Kitty's not a cat. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's literally called Kitty.
Yeah, don't assume their species. How dare you?
How dare you?
I know. A non-binary or whatever.
Yeah.
The new term is anymore. I'm confused. Yeah. My
Yes,
neighbor
what do you
calls
remember?
My neighbor calls her own daughter they because she refuses to, because her daughter wants to be a boy.
I have
So
Sandy
like,
says, I have the current memory. Hong Kong Fooey, Phooey, but I'm seeing things online that shouldn't be there. Possible realities that merge into ours. So how could, now this just could be bad at art design or a cheap knockoff where Hong was forgotten because it was on the thermos. However, I have a dual memory of Fooey with an F and with a PH, which mirrors what I'm seeing online as well. But some people online also remember another name, one much closer to Lunchbox, Hong Fooey.
Kong, yeah.
Yeah, while others remember yet another variation, Hong Kong Fooey or Fooey.
with Kung. Yeah, it's weird.
No, it was never Kung Fui. It was
Yes, it was. We're gonna get to that.
no, it was Hong Kong Fui.
Brian, the bottom right. Zoom in.
Kung
These are the original sketches.
Fui.
Kung Fui. I'm going to explain in a minute. Let's go on to another side. You'll read.
Non-binary.
People remember Kung Fui, so I'm saying it's a shift. They merged into our reality because we have the current memory.
But I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to think. Is it? I want to say it was Hong Kong, or was it Kung for you? Was it Kung?
No, it's Hong Kong Fui for me. But the original, you're going to get to it. You just keep going. The original working title is Kung Fui. And people remember it even though it was never released that way. Here it is. The working title was still Kung Fui. Like you can read it there. Kung Fui. Kung Fui. And yet people remember it like they released it that way, but they never did.
Which is very interesting because in this reality, the original working title, a title was never released to the public, was Kung Fui. The final cartoon changed Kung to Hong Kong and Fui to Fui with a PH. Now, the alternate reality name many remember.
You can see all these people remember Kung Fui.
No, it shouldn't be in existence, but these are just some like Twitter posts here about Kung Fui. Kung, Kung Fui.
I mean, they're even posting pictures that say Hong Kong Fui and they say Kung Fui.
Hong Kong Fui. That's funny. It sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
It was Hong. Was it Hong? This one guy says Hong Kong.
Yeah. Like they got a dual.
Researching this, I came across another character that changed for me. But this time, its color changes as opposed to the name. Quick Draw McGraw. But before I get to the color change, do you see anything missing on him? Because I see one major thing, possibly a second thing.
All right, so in the chat, Brian, stay here. Do you guys see anything missing? Brian, Esther, Jeff. Well, Jeff, I think I told you. So Brian, Esther.
I feel like he's missing his stirrups.
That's funny that you called them that because I called them that too, and it's wrong. I made a correction on the next slide, but
Unfortunately, I it's been so long since I've seen him. I mean, if I saw him differently and knowing what's missing, I would probably recognize. Yeah,
you wouldn't need to know the character to know what's missing. Something
yeah. I mean,
generic.
yeah. What
I know.
Brian was saying, it sounds like those should be on his boots. Those little star thingies.
The spurs, which
Yeah.
Brian just called stirrups, and I did in the presentation too.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was
Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
Stirrups are something totally different. That has to do with the saddle, right?
Yeah. So General Sorrow says badge. Craig Jr. says pants.
Yeah, the badge. I thought he did. I was so focused
guitar. That you're thinking of El Kabong. El Kabong has the guitar. Hey Virgos. Badge and guitar optional. So when El Kabong does still have the guitar.
Yeah. Now, question: were these cartoons violent back in the day to you?
No, it's a cartoon.
I know El Kabong was hitting people with his guitar.
Well,
we didn't really think of it as violence back then.
100% for me, he had a sheriff's star on his chest. It's still in some books and comics, but I can't find it in the cartoons at all. And I never read the comics as a kid. I don't even think I had any books. I just watched the cartoons. There's my little note. I repeatedly say stirrups to the presentation. I meant spurs.
Yeah. That's why I was like, I knew it was something with an S, but I knew it wasn't stirrup.
Yeah, well, stirrups actually go attached to a saddle.
Right. Okay, Brian, go back to
Another
reading.
thing that could be missing, I'm not seeing in the cartoon, are 6-point star stirrups,
Spurs.
spurs. I'm not 100%, but I'm finding the drawings of him with them. Do you remember the star? What is that?
And or the Spurs. It's okay. You can go to the next one.
I do remember the sheriff star.
That's what I said.
Now on to
generic,
the
but
color change. Quick Draw McGraw. Which is the closest to your memory of the character?
My very first thought is number 1.
Yeah, mine too. What do you
all right,
say,
let's see what
Jeff?
the chat says.
Number 1.
Like that light
No,
blue just
Jeff,
looks.
did you shift on me?
Why?
Because I literally made an option because of what you remembered.
I want to say red kind of looks familiar, but I think that's because of his bandana. Because his
I
bandana.
feel like it was
One for
I feel
Philo.
like it's the first one. For me, it's the
One
first
for
one.
Please Don't Track Me. Welcome.
Yeah,
He
number
almost
1.
looks like a fireman. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being tired, but I see the middle one. He looks like a fireman.
The last one looks like a police officer, like the old police officer.
Well, guess what? When I showed this to Jeff, he said he remembered a darker blue, not quite navy. So I made number 3 for Jeff. And then he says 1. You shifted.
No,
I-
I do remember that. But I have kind of a dual memory of the other one. Definitely not the middle though.
Okay.
Anybody in the
So,
chat? Are we getting any
yeah,
answers from the chat?
everybody's a 1. And General Sorrow likes 3, but only saw it in black and white and thinks it's 1 because red appears dark in black and white.
I don't know, just 1. That's the one that my eye just said that's correct because the color of the horse. That's the
Guys,
one.
I remember. Go ahead, Brian.
He likes
A
the
for sure
refresh
says
it.
ever Josh. Welcome. A for Joe Bloor, who's back.
So, A, the light blue one matches my memory, but Jeff remembers C, the dark blue. However, we are both wrong because it has always been B, the red, with the exception of comic books which had the red parts as brown. Which, I mean, do you remember red and or brown? No. And the bandana looks wrong to me.
Yeah, the bandana looks really wrong.
You sure this is an example of like the older
I'm
Quick Draw
sure.
McGraw where he's like,
Brian,
he's not been revamped or anything?
you're not. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I'm just asking, Sandy. That's all.
I know, but I like the residue. Like, no, absolutely.
I've also never seen this logo before, yet it keeps popping up on online searches. Have you ever seen the Q before? The regular logo still exists though.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Refresh
that's
it.
kind of weird. The it looks like a bullseye and kind of like Twilight Zoney, where if it
Actually, it's Target's logo, the one that I remember. It's the exact logo for Target.
well,
that I
don't they have the
remember.
Target logo on the dog? Correct? Isn't the one on the dog the same way it's supposed to be?
No, I mean, I had to draw that logo for Target because even the 3-ring one that Target used to have is wrong.
Well, they
That
have
is
it on
my
all their
Target
bags.
logo.
If you look at their bags, the bags all have that logo.
All right, so this one is every color of the rainbow, like things that variation effect to a T, like all different colors, green hats, purple bandanas, purple hats. Everything's crazy. Here's the current reality of red and brown.
So, but his bandana's changed, right, throughout the years, it looks like.
Yeah, it goes from white to light blue.
There's some green in there, too.
Well, that's part of the variation effect. That's a book.
Yes, I kind of remember red as well, but the blue is the one that's the one I remember it actually being. But I think I've seen it kind of more recently where he was red. It's not in the book.
Now he's got a blue, right?
Yeah, now I don't know why they're making him orange and blue hair. Like, there's so much variation happening here, but I only remember the light blue.
Hmm.
Wait, Sandy, you put here that this is residue, but he's
Oh, the
wearing red
spurs. You're
here.
looking at the spurs now.
Oh,
The previous
okay.
one was the scar, which
He
you
did
skipped
have the
through.
spurs, but he also had that star.
Well, the previous slide was the scars,
Yeah.
and you skipped over it. There's more scars here, though.
And that wraps that one up. Yeah, we had quite a bit to cover, and Sandy did a wonderful job putting all together. So, guys, please give Sandy a thank you for for doing that for us.
They don't have to thank
She
me.
always does a good job with her graphics.
Oh, yeah. Great
Especially
job.
with our cartoon, our Christmas things.
We want to talk about eye problems next because right now I have a problem keeping my eyes open. So these should be some real eye openers here for you guys.
And then the next one's the last folder, right?
I'm sure you don't get tired of my corny jokes, do you?
No.
I don't.
Cornea jokes.
The cornier.
Cornea jokes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, the
Cornea.
cornea the better.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, guys. You don't have to thank me.
Okay. We talked about before. Listen, we talked about before where some people's eyes and animals' eyes, even including like cows and deer and horses, they have like rectangular or hexagonal shapes in their eyes. Well, now there's some things I've heard of.
I've never heard of or seen before.
I've never heard of. Sorry, and I've seen before in the human eye, which may or may not be an ME, but I'm curious to know if these are new for you as well. So, have you ever heard of sunflower eyes? And what about freckled eyes? You ever heard of that? Well, you're about to get
An eyeful.
an eyeful. Yes. Yeah, I like that picture, by the way. But sunflowers have changed for me, and we talked about that before because now they're no longer solid in the middle, like a solid color. Now they're like two-toned in the middle. So where you have part of the sunflower in the very center looks like a Fibonacci series. If you graft it out, it looks like a spiral or Fibonacci. Anyway, sunflower eyes is a genetic trait where the fibers of the eye are more prominent in the center and color differently from the rest of the iris. Did you know this was a thing?
It really looks like sunflowers.
Yeah.
None of these photos are edited, but some have had their colors enhanced. The ones that look edited are actually taken with a macro lens.
Those are cool.
Now the standard is yellow gold in the middle of the eye, but it includes any color variation. For example, dark blue eyes with a pale blue center.
But it's not as striking as the yellow in the center.
Oh, that's cool.
I just picture the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
That's
I
what
see
your
all
eyes
these
look like with a macro lens. Isn't that creepy?
Mhm.
Well,
I
you know,
was,
there's lots of listen in the inside the iris. There's lots of little fibers that they're like little filters for some of the aqueous fluid that runs through your eye. I know this because I had glaucoma, which is glaucoma is where you have a blockage of the aqueous fluid. So I actually had to have surgery performed where they it was non-intrusive at first, where they just kind of like use a laser and puncture little holes inside the iris so that the aqueous fluid can flow better. Yeah, it's,
I know my eyes are blue, but in the very center they are brown.
yeah, it's a genetic thing. Now, were they always that way, Esther?
I don't. I it was pointed out to me. I think it was around 2015, 2016 is when I found out that
Oh,
the inside of it. I was like, I didn't even realize it beforehand.
yeah.
But
Well, uh, my kid's mom, um, she has blue eyes with the brown center, and yeah, I realized it, you know, around 2015 ish, that time frame.
yeah, I
But
can't remember the
yeah,
exact year, but I went for an iridology appointment where he looked into my eyes, and I was like, oh, I didn't know I had this other color in my eye because he like zooms in and like really like, and ever since then, it's very noticeable.
yeah. Now, other things here. So there's freckled eyes. I've seen many people have spots or two in the iris before, but this is not what this is.
Whoa.
We're talking about full-fledged freckles here. This is a genetic mutation where the eye is covered with many spots, sometimes
Oh,
varying colors, but mostly the same color spots that are different from the eye color. Have you guys ever seen or heard of this before?
not to that extent.
Nope.
That would be weird, running into somebody that had that, you know?
I mean, I've seen like a spot or two on somebody's eye, but never like that. Oh, it looks like something's wrong with their eyeballs.
Yeah. And when Sandy, when you showed this to me, my first thought was like, okay, I need to get on the phone with Dr. Magdalene and see if he remembers this at all or if he's seen it. Um, my eye doctor, the
Yeah.
what do they call him, ophthalmologist or something, or
A lot of these freckled eyes
Optometrist?
also have sun
there's an
power eyes.
optometrist and then there's an ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmologist you see when you have a medical issue.
Yes.
Oh,
The
word,
eye
that's weird.
the eye doctor, the optometrist can only go so far. Then ophthalmologist takes over for like Sandy said. Yeah,
Oh,
those are all interesting. The freckled ones get me the most. You know.
it's kind of
Yeah.
creepy looking. They almost look like reptilian or something. You know, and you see like the like
Kinda,
spider
yeah.
or
Or
whatever.
I was like leopard
Yeah,
Yeah,
eyes.
those are really creepy looking. And
I'm
some
gonna
have the
read the
limbo
last
rings
one.
and some don't.
yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I have those.
you have limbo rings.
Mm-hmm.
I have them too.
I've
Yeah,
actually
same
had
here.
my eyes at one point. My eyes were a little hexagonal. Like one of my eye pupils went hexagonal for a few
Mine
months.
did too.
Was that when you glitched into the Matrix? No, I'm just kidding.
It was after we noticed it, and then I started like looking at my iris, and at that point, I'm like, oh, or my pupil, and I'm like, oh, hey, it is hexagonal, but now it seems to kind of it's mostly round now.
Yeah, mine is
Yeah.
too. The same thing happened.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
Yeah.
like
guys.
what we were talking about earlier. You're observing it, and now all of a sudden, like with the brown in my eyes, I never noticed it before, and now I see it every time I look at my eyes.
Guys,
Oh,
this is the last
Esther,
folder
do
of the
you want to read
night.
this last one?
I'm gonna,
You try.
okay.
In the ME community, many of us have discussed this beach in the
Maldives.
Maldives No leaves. The glow caused by yeah, I can't talk.
That's why I was going to read it. There's
Organisms
a lot of big words in this one. Like,
now
it's about science.
classified. Yeah, now classified as a form of algae. Yeah, I'm just so tired, but I'm trying to form words.
Oh, it gets worse.
Yeah, but recently I discovered it's not just the microorganism algae that does this, and it's not just happening in faraway tropical place. Oh, that's so cool. The two culprits of glowing oceans and seas are diaphragm.
Dinoflagellates, which appear blue, and Pyrocystis noctilucens, which are healthy green algae and toxic red algae. I figured I'd just help you there. Just take it over with.
Yeah, those are weird words. We can never just pick a name.
Isn't algae like is it edible? I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're single-cell
Depends on-
organisms in plants.
I think it
so
could
yeah.
be part of a human diet. I don't know.
I don't know if I want to eat the ones that glow because maybe my insides
Yeah,
will start glowing.
because then you might glow. Yeah. Well, Esther, you already glow, but I'm just giving you a compliment.
So, do you want to finish reading this, Sandy? Because there's a lot of big words in that.
That's what I said. The dinoflagellates tend to have a sparkly appearance, the one on the left, while Pyrocystis noctilucens look more like a fluid glow, which is on the right. So here's the problem, guys. New enemies are where they are located. County Cork, Oregon, Washington State, Florida, Virginia, even New Jersey. You can catch this happening all over the world now. You guys remember being able to see glowing algae all over the world?
No.
Any beach?
I've
It doesn't
never
happen all
seen
the time, but it can happen. And it has. What were you saying, Esther?
I said I've never seen it before, but I've heard of it.
And in San Diego, this happened. Banded formation, which doesn't make sense at all in water. So it can also glow red. The red algae one, it usually glows green, but it can glow red. And that's the beach in Virginia. The ones that
I've heard of
glow
red
way
tide.
more.
What is red tide?
Red tide is when it actually looks like red water from all the red algae.
I've heard that's a bad thing.
It is bad. It's toxic.
Let's go swimming.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So here's the fluidy looking one from the noctilucens.
That would be awesome.
And you guys fascinated by this glowing algae?
It is awesome looking.
But we're not done. There's more.
I like the one there on the bottom right.
I like to bottle some of that and bring it in my house and just like
They do
light my
that.
house
They
up.
sell bottles of it.
Oh, that's so cool.
When you think about that, that it's an actual organism. It's not cool.
I'll tell my kids, get me this for Christmas. Glowing water.
There's also another creature which I never heard of that can mimic the dinoflagellates when dumped onto the beach. Sea fireflies. You guys ever heard of sea fireflies? That's them swimming in the water.
No, I've never seen those ones.
Daisy's never even seen these. Like I showed them to her and she's never seen them before. These little guys are ostracod crustaceans, a teeny form of shrimp that emit a glow as a defense mechanism, and they sparkle, not sparkly, they sparkle when dumped onto the beach like nothing I've ever seen before. And I have a video coming up, Brian. But you'll see. They're little shrimp, little round shrimp.
I still want to see one of those pistol shrimp that supposedly.
Let me read it before you play. But go ahead. Why do you want the rainbow? You mean because they're rainbow?
What?
Because they're rainbow or because they shoot?
Because they shoot that little thing that's like hotter than the sun.
Mm-hmm.
The little whatever it is, bullet or whatever they fire, it's hotter than the sun.
Which doesn't make sense because they're under the ocean. How do they have something that hot inside them and not cook?
Yeah.
I keep thinking of Ken and Ryu, Hadouken, you know.
This cardinal fish decided to eat one. The glow made the fish visible, so he spits it out, making it look like he's spitting blue fire or lasers from his mouth. Hit play, Brian.
I want some sharks with freaking laser beams.
That is cool. Forget about those people who spit fire. Just throw one of those in your mouth.
Yeah, it's called Luciferian. Look at that, Luciferian.
Yes, Luciferian. Mm-hmm. Luciferian. And luciferase. So here's what happens when you dump them on the rocks.
That
Beautiful.
looks
Apparently,
like
then
blue.
they
Looks like
will
blue
find their way
lava.
back into the ocean. Yeah, it does. It looks like blue lava.
Like blue
But
lava.
it's sea fireflies.
That is so cool.
Like, it looks like they're touching stars. I don't even understand this. Wait, can you go back a second, Brian? Brian.
What?
Go back a second. Can you zoom in on the top right? Look how cute he is.
Yeah.
Look how cute. Just chilling on the beach, little shrimp guy. I don't know. I just want to point him out.
Mm-hmm. Trolls World Tour. Yeah,
Oh,
kind of
Trolls.
like that.
It does look like Trolls World Tour, especially that bottom left one.
Hmm.
Well, that's them swimming in the water and lighting up.
That is really cool. The feet and the hands.
Mm-hmm. So those of you that remember the Maldives ocean being covered, do you remember being able to make footprints and handprints and have it glow on your hands and things like that when it was originally covered? Because I don't. This is new for me.
When do you think you would squish them if you stepped on them?
These aren't the shrimp. These are the dinoflagellates.
Oh, okay. That is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I figure a nice, relaxing, pretty one to end the night.
Well, those are. I'm glad you picked one that we could relax to. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was great to end that one on that note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we're done, right, Sandy? Did we hit everything?
Yeah, that's it. As long as you didn't skip anything, you got it all.
Well, badee, that's all, folks. Right?
Happy birthday to Brian again.
Yes, happy birthday.
Especially for those of you joining us late.
Oh, thanks,
it's
guys.
Brian's birthday. Well, it was Brian's birthday.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, depending on what part of the country, it might still be your birthday.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because where Brian is, it's not. But hey, who cares? We're still up. So happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you. Well, this has been the best birthday ever. I'm glad I got to spend it with you guys. Have a great Mandela Effect night. God bless everyone.
Right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.